Hello and welcome to I Got Gameplay, and tonight is the inaugural night where I'm the main host, Sean Michelin. I'm your host of hosts now. Michael Burhan has bowed out, but I'm going to try to fill his shoes as much as I can with either beer or effervescence. And with me is... Oh, well, thank you very much. And that is, of course, Mr. Dave Wade, who's a regular on the show, and with us as well is Nick Horacek. Say hello, guys.
Yo,
hello, guys.
I'm actually not working on a Saturday night for once, so I'm here.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, you're usually always occupied.
Yeah, either working or 1 week I was out in Oregon for a wedding, another week I was at Sealy Lake camping, so both cases getting drunk. So.
Well, in your defense, Nick, while you weren't on this show, that was not a bad thing at the time, if the booze was free.
Really, it was. So.
Good job then. Well done. I commend you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, maybe a pizza, bitch. Sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah, so it's a new era. It's a little sad that Burhan's taking a leave of absence, but it's very sad. But we'll do his best, do our best to fill his shoes.
Well, he's not gone forever, so we'll just keep it warm for him.
Yep.
So, I guess this is where we cut it in first with the news. And does anybody have anything in the way of gaming news?
Oh, I've been... let me see if I can find something quick.
I've been a little bit slack on it. I've actually deliberately kind of turned off from the news recently, simply because of all this massive backlash against all these Kickstarter programs and stuff like that, and negativity that.
Well, here we go. Speaking of Kickstarter, Shenmue broke Kickstarter records, so.
Yeah, it's like up to 3-something million now.
I think it passed 5.
I thought it was on 5.6.
Yeah, it was at 5.6. Like, it was high as fuck.
This game definitely...
Which is good, because that's the one thing that's still a positive Kickstarter in the sense, and again, this is why I stayed away from news, which is, that's good and that's positive, and I'm really looking forward to this, but, the other Kickstarters out there, especially with the people who do Mighty Number 9, which is, hey, we got another project, we want to do this. How about you finish your first fucking project and stuff? So there's a lot of negativity around crowdfunding right now, which is unfair for the people who use it genuinely for projects when sort of bigger people come along and do these things genuinely from day one and then suddenly change their goalposts. So, when people get negative towards that, unfortunately the stigma will drift down and affect the people who were simply just going to go, I need 25 grand to do this book or something, which is unfortunate, but that's kind of why I've stayed away from it, because it seems to be this thing permanently in turmoil right now, is just this backlash against Kickstarters.
Well, I mean,
so many else on Slamcast last night, which is, it's the bubble may have burst for it, which I think is unfortunate, because I think the people who would genuinely use it are going to fall foul and suffer at the hands of the people who are taking the piss out of it, if that makes sense.
Yep. It's... what the fuck? Yeah, because you'll have people that will use it, and they have genuine projects that they want to use, try and get funded, and then you have people trying to fund poo pins.
Yeah.
Fucking little paper pins you stick in dog shit. I don't know why. Oh,
was that for real?
Yeah, that was a real fucking Kickstarter. There's a channel that doesn't
tell me it got any money.
It didn't. It was on. Look up a video series called Kickstarter Crap. There's a shit ton of this stuff. God.
That one includes the bloke who wanted a pair of Google glasses so he could record one shot of his son every day until he grew up.
I wanted to
kick if you love your son that much, pay for it yourself, you fucking cheap bastard.
Really? Well, and then you've got the jabroni Virgil starting a GoFundMe to get $1 million so he can be the $1 million man.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah, it's like the fellow that I saw there. He wanted $50,000 to get all the equipment so he could start a YouTube channel. He has to have, apparently he has zero content, but he wants to buy $50,000 in equipment of that to get started up.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a lesson to that bloke. I started running up with a webcam that cost £13.
Nice tip to a beer
bottle.
bottle.
In fact, if you're gonna, yeah, and an awesome beer bottle it is too.
Well,
if you want 50 grand to start a YouTube channel when you haven't worked out what your content yet is, you're just gonna have an empty studio like TV or something. You're just gonna sit there and twiddle your thumbs and just go, anyone got any suggestions?
Don't be a suggestion.
Don't beg, you prick.
Yeah.
That's not what Kickstarter's for. It's for genuine projects, people who get shunned by main sourcing routes.
Well, I mean, even Sony's getting to that now. They marketed something under a dummy company to do their Sony watch or some bullshit like that now.
Oh, everyone with their fucking watches. I don't get it. Can I have a personal little rant right now?
Yeah.
I don't even wear one.
Fucking Apple Watch. Really? The fucking Apple Watch. I mean, I get an iPad. I'm not a massive fan of Apple. I get an iPad. I get an iPod. I get an iPhone. But do we really need an iWatch that apparently you can, I could be wrong on this, only use in conjunction with an iPhone or iPad?
It's not just that.
What's the fucking point?
Actually, Apple is apparently going to be gearing it towards your credit card balance, so they'll flash you ads based on your credit card balance on your Apple Watch.
Oh, dear God. I liked it when someone said, my Apple Watch keeps, lets me know how much my heart is racing throughout the day. Like, well, just do what the rest of us do and just go, shit, my heart is racing. I didn't need an app to tell me that. Or put your fingers in your fucking neck and check your pulse. Everyone buys this. I mean, Apple are brilliant at this. Everyone buys this shit because it's the next big thing in a statement, isn't it? They don't actually buy it because it's meaningful tat. They buy it because it's like, look at me, look at the bling on my arm.
Nice sheep.
Exactly.
Hipsters and libertarian voters.
Yeah. Well,
libertarians.
We have our fucking clowns in this country. But anyway, I found this article on Street Fighter V, how it'd be constantly evolving fighting platform. So, I put the article in the... Well, the idea is that, like, with Street Fighter 4, you had Super Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4, fucking... It was, it was still did right in the way that you could... If you had the original Street Fighter 4, you could download, you could buy the patch, or you could just get the disc, so that was fine. But the idea here is that it's gonna be constantly evolving, there's gonna be no more of these big updates, so everyone's gonna have the same rule sets, everyone's gonna have the same deal and everything, and...
That's kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah, you'll be able to earn fight money by playing the game, battling opponents, winning, yada yada yada.
Please tell me you can use the fight money to buy back all the stuff and not your own actual physical money. For, like,
yes, that's the idea. Is that as you play, you can earn different costumes through actual gameplay. You don't have to actually shell out more money for it.
So it's gone back to the traditional way of upgrading, which is it's a grinder as opposed to what I like to call a mugger or a beggar.
Yeah,
not so bad.
That's good. That's a return to old school, actually. I wonder if that's because Capcom realized that, they're in not the perfect shape right now, so possibly return to older sort of visions of how you treated your market. Old school ones, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, and with, Street Fighter V being a PS4 exclusive, well, here in a few months, I'm going to be making room on my shelf here for a PS4. Yeah, I'm going to have to. It's not going to be on Xbox, which sucks, but whatever. I've got Killer Instinct, I got Mortal Kombat on Xbox, I've got, WWE 2K16 on the way, so, well, when that comes out...
Are you getting that new Rare collection?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I got it pre-ordered.
What's the Rare collection? I didn't know about this.
Oh.
It's the Rare Replay, yeah, Xbox One exclusive, and it has 30 games on it for $30, so it includes Snake, Rattle, and Roll. Battletoads, the Battletoads Arcade, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie.
Fucking Jetpack.
Oh my god, I think I have a semi. Oh fuck,
yeah,
I really need to buy an Xbox One.
It's gonna have over 10,000 gamer score.
Dave, Battletoads Arcade is on it. Conker's Bad Fur Day is on it. Cobra Triangle, I believe, is one of them as well.
I believe so. You could easily condense that into the 2 Battletoads games, Banjo-Kazooie games, and then Conker's Bad Fur Day and sell for $30, and it'd still be fucking worth it.
There's even a 360 release on there. What was it? What is that game? It's one of the launch titles that they helped do.
Perfect Dark Zero.
Dark?
Well, that one too. That's gonna be on there. So it's a medley from like Nintendo era all the way up to like the last.
Right, it's all Rare because Rare owns all those IPs.
Do you know, true story, do you know Rare started off as an English software house in the early 80s in this country called Ultimate Play the Game?
Yeah,
and
Jetpack.
They were known for Jetpack, Sabretooth, Underworld, Nightlaw, Alienate. They were Cyber... No, it wasn't Cybernoid, it was the other one. I forget. But they were really renowned for pushing like all the 8-bit systems. And some people don't realize that, the fact that Rare, were such a powerhouse was nothing different from their early days of when they started off on all the 8-bit computers in the UK. They were, Ultimate Play the Game. They're absolute fucking wizards and ninjas. Wizards and ninjas. I need to make a t-shirt with that.
I mean, I'm excited to actually be able to play Battletoads in the arcade and stuff like that. Go back through Banjo-Kazooie because that game will absolutely ass-fuck you in the end.
I'm excited by the fact that once it's almost like outside of people ripping you off for downloadable content and new dresses and shit like that and an extra level and all this expansion crap, that it seemed for once that we've got proper value for money. This sounds like an absolute bargain for the sheer level of content.
It's like $30 apparently. It's not expensive at all, and you're
paying $1 a game with all this fucking content. I mean, my God, over 10. I can't wait to see how brutally fucking hard the Battletoads achievements are going to be.
Oh, they're going to be up there with fucking grating your balls on a cheese grater.
My God, yes.
Which one of you gives up first, basically?
Yes.
It's like Rochambeau.
Watch, if there isn't an achievement for you must beat the game without dying once, I will be shocked.
Yeah.
Let's hope they fix it, because remember, there's an infamous
you must
bug.
beat the game without taking a single hit.
Maybe there's maybe they fixed the glitch. If you remember, if you tried playing a co-op, I don't know why you would, because it's even fucking harder.
Exactly.
That you couldn't get past the second to last stage.
All I remember was playing the game co-op was you constantly yelled at the other person and say, "Stay fucking by my side! You're not helping.
And don't beat me up."
Yeah.
Don't punch me.
In fact, stay by my side, but at least 15 degrees above me. No, that's quite cool. I really like that. I didn't know that game was coming out. All that package coming out. Yeah. That's epic. Well, I guess the backlash of people being fed up with being ripped off with stuff and maybe possibly in some cases boycotting consoles and software companies and packages is maybe because, Capcom are in dire straits or whatever, they've looked to giving a little bit back towards the people who put them in the position they're in the first place. We don't have to constantly screw these people over because they're not stupid, and if we constantly screw them over, they might bite us in the ass, and then we have no market.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when the whole, on disc DLC thing came out. You know how they had the separate cat for Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you had bad box art and Mega Man as, character in the PS3 and Vita versions, but they found the content on the disc on the 360.
Yes, Namco were the first people to fall foul of that. I think I saw it in an Ashton's video going back about
I was like, we're just trying to save you, download time instead. You just download a patch. Really?
Yeah. So basically, it's all in my hands when I buy it.
But you have to pay to unlock it, so fuck
it's
you.
It's like buying a fucking car from the dealership, then driving it home, and then realizing that your headlights don't work, so you call your dealership, and it goes, they're an optional extra, you have to pay us for them. Mm-hmm. But I have them already. Well, I'm sorry. But, you want your headlights to work. I want 15 quid. Fucking bullshit.
Yep.
Oh, I know. That's like, I want to turn the radio. Well, that's $5.
Yeah. I want aircon in this country. That's £270,000. Fuck off, you're English, you're not entitled to it. Which is why I'm sitting here with Betty Swallocks.
Oh, it's pretty cool here today. It was like
But you love
17
it.
Celsius at the most.
And you, Nick, because you're in a basement. It's not. I hate you both right now. I'm sat here, right, and I need a spatula to flip my nuts from one side of my thigh to the other side.
I was just going to say, Box is sitting on your chair. Are they having a good little fucking sweat?
I'm sweating like fucking Jimmy Savile in the 70s.
Sweating like a cornered nun.
Sweating like a whore on holy ground. Oh, no, we mustn't mention his name. Sorry.
Schnork.
I really feel that we should bring in people in this outside and explain why we mustn't mention his name. But if we do mention his name, then his so-called gods, quotation fingers, will come and us for daring to mention his name. All I'll say is this. Yes.
Oh man. So
Shingles, you say.
Don't do it, Michelin. I'm sorry, I got
Don't.
cough a bit. Don't risk offending he who we all bow down before.
yes. Yep.
I think we can say this. Don't upset. Here's a workaround. Don't upset the Scottish gods.
I like it.
Oh, I like that.
Now I have to print another fucking t-shirt up. For fuck's sake.
Keep
Damn
calm and don't offend the Scottish gods.
Yeah. Apart from when they separate from the UK, then you're welcome to. Anyway, sorry, moving along. Who knows? McLeod? What I do know is that you're big. Yeah. Sorry. It's out of my system now, I promise.
Well, there's another bit of news there, of course, the passing of somebody who is considered to be great in gaming.
2-day funeral. Did you see it? 2-day and well deserved.
4,000 people attended. Over 4,000 people in a typhoon.
That's a lot of love, and rightly so for someone who's Winnie Pop is a massive part of so many people's childhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because you get state funerals and stuff, and I'm not saying this was a state funeral, but you get them for leaders, politicians, people like Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher, stuff like that. Absolutely revered movie stars, absolutely revered musicians, and I think it proves that gaming is as valid as any other form of entertainment. That many people showed out to show their love for something that's that important in so many people's lives. There's a big naysay to all these people who just go, "Oh, video games, what's the point?" Well, look at this. This is the point. This person affected this many people's lives. You may think it's stupid and it's a game, but you touched them in a way that you couldn't do for any other form of media, and they wanted to say thanks. This was one of those things that kind of genuinely restores your faith in humanity, if that makes sense.
Oh, that Ryan King, he's on the podcast here and there. The day that he heard that happened, he actually got some helium balloons and released them because of balloon fight.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I helped him translate something the other day. He had to send a condolences card to somebody who speaks Korean on the subject of Iwata. And my coworker is actually Korean, so I got him to actually write it out, and I took a picture of it. But the man really made Nintendo.
I mean, it's very sad that he passed away, but it's also very touching, the response globally towards it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he was a big part of a lot of people who gamed, especially those who were Nintendo fans. He made Nintendo what it is now.
He crossed countries. You know what I mean? Like, globally, it was, he was obviously Japanese, but his legacy, his work, everything he did, united. This may sound like a strong statement, but basically united the world to some degree.
Yeah.
And we would like to say on IGG, we very much mourn his passing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did a video.
Like in heaven somewhere right now, he's sat at a Nintendo console, and Kurt Cobain knocks on the door and just says, "Hey, dude, you want to play Joust?" Be yours.
Yeah, I did a video I was talking about. Basically said that his impact is going to be felt for decades to come.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, he took over
And so
Nintendo.
sad, so young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, 55, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, 55. That sounds about right.
If you're looking down upon us, we just like to say thank you very much for basically shaping, I think it's safe to say, each and every one of ours, at least on this cast, childhoods for the better. Mm-hmm. Now go and play Kurt Cobain at Doused.
Yeah.
It's like watching The Simpsons where Jimi Hendrix and Thomas Jefferson are playing air hockey.
Yeah. Do you remember the bit from Family Guy when Brian goes to heaven and he's talking to them? How'd you die? Oh, I did this. How'd you die? I ate some chocolate in the trash.
Last game, Hendrix. I haven't been able to pay too much attention just because of work and all, but I can't really think of any other news related.
I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I've just stayed away from the news this week because I'm tired of reading about Kickstarter shit.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's like Kickstarter this, Kickstarter that. Fuck off.
Can you excuse me, gents, while I politely go for a whiz?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going to do it right here, obviously. I'm not going to soil myself.
Like that scene in CV4. Yeah, I can't really think of too much else in the way of news. I've not really thought of. After E3, it gets a bit dull. I know that the new Transformers Devastation game will be coming to PS3 and 360.
Oh,
I
nice.
Can't wait to play that.
Yeah, I got Deadpool on the 360.
How is that?
It's fun. It is fucking awesome.
Every time I think about
Holy
Deadpool, shit. I think about Marvel's Capcom 3 where he grabs the life bar and starts beating you with it.
Just a master of breaking the fourth wall. It's awesome.
That's the lovely thing about Deadpool. It's just so Mr. Fourth Wall.
Yep. I mean, that's why I find the character. I love the character. He's so fucking funny.
I was like, I remember somebody posted one day, it's just a picture of him, and he's like, my common sense is tingling, and they have that little thing like Spider-Man, where his spider sense is tingling.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I freaking lost. I zoned out there for a second. What did you just say?
My common sense is tingling.
Oh, yeah. I'm still watching this this death battle, Goku Superman 2. They're doing it live. But yeah, I was glad I picked up that Deadpool game because the character is fucking hilarious. The gameplay is awesome. Little platforming in there, a lot of just combat with swords and guns and shit, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's what I like about Deadpool. Mr. Fourth Wall. I mean, yep. I can't wait for the new movie come out. I remember there was this, it wasn't meant to look like a teaser trailer, and it's Ryan Reynolds getting interviewed by Mario Lopez of Extra, and like he's just talking about stuff, and you just see Deadpool walking in the background. He just grabs one of the lights and starts beating it with Mario Lopez, and he's just like, "Don't worry, Jesse, he won't hurt you anymore." Jesse from Saved by the Bell.
Sorry about that, lads. I had a piss on board that could drown a donkey.
Shit.
Now, where were we, chaps? Yeah.
We're talking about Deadpool.
Yep.
Oh, what, the trailer?
Well,
I started talking about the game, but yeah, I saw the trailer. That was good.
Because I got to say, the trailer blew my tiny little freaking mind.
I love Deadpool.
I just thought, I don't know how the movie's going to play it, but I just thought from the trailer alone, I've never watched something that, at least to me, in my experiences of Deadpool, is that close to the character.
Mm-hmm.
In badassness, in humor, You know, it just looked like Deadpool. I'm psyched. I'm really psyched. More so than any other superhero movie right now.
Oh, the humor alone is going to be great. It's apparently a hard R, so like, it sounds like not much is going to be off limits. Like, apparently Colossus is going to be fat in this film. So
please at least be a 15 and not 12, though. That's my only fear.
Oh, it's going to be a hell towards 15 versus 12, apparently. Like, they're just going to play it out just like Deadpool in the comics, which means, like, it's just going to be fucking Mr. Random Fourth Wall, fucking just unhinged from reality Deadpool, not like that shitty version that he played in the Wolverine movie.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine movie, fucking terrible.
Yeah, it needs to be completely off the wall, just batshit insane, just no fucking limits, exactly.
And as you said, Michelin, which is break the fourth wall left, right, and center, because that's what he fucking does.
Yeah.
If he looks
possibly have to see where his head gets blown off and he has to grow it back.
Oh, that was so great. Speaking of which, I watched Justice League Gods and Monsters this week. And
nice.
It was a very interesting animated film. It's the Paul Dini, Bruce Timm style, like Justice League animated universe style to it, but it's very dark. Very dark. And fairly gory, actually. But it's pretty much an alternate universe where, like, Superman is some General Zod, and Batman is actually Kirk Langstrom, so he's more of a vampire, and Wonder Woman is actually Becca, who's one of the new gods and all this shit, and it was pretty awesome. I'm not going to say much more because I get into spoiler territory then.
Yes, and we should be careful of spoiler territory.
Yep.
Should we crack on with our topic?
Yes, we should.
Yeah. We should.
I think I might have to diversify a little bit and break it down, but the topic for tonight was, what was your favorite of all the generations of gaming, you know, console-wise? Because what, we on the 8th generation now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we could also speak a little bit fondly about because it's very difficult to pin it down to one, but speak a little bit fondly about your memories of each one. So I guess we start with, and you're going to have to help me out with this, guys, because I get a little bit confused on the separation of generations. Generation 1, Atari 2600, and television.
Technically, that be the second gen, because like the first generation was like the
First generation, yeah, it would be Pong though, wouldn't it? Technically.
Yeah, but call it for whatever, you know. It's. But anyway, like we're the first generation. A lot of people play would be the Atari 2600. So.
Oh, such a great time though.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? That's one of the times I look back upon fondly, because we got to borrow my neighbour's one. Never had one myself until many, many years later, but I do remember like it being on the news and in TV programs, like talking about, you know, gaming is this new thing, and there was even a point in this country you could take your Atari 2600 console and pop it in like a vending machine, pay money, and change the ROM on the cartridge. And I just remember thinking, oh my god, it was everywhere. It was in movies. Remember the movie Daryl?
Oh my god, yeah.
Where he was the escaped robotic kid from NASA or something, and he blew up the console by being so good at it. Playing Space Invaders or something. But it just, it was everywhere back in the day. I mean, you can see it, even though they don't directly play it, you can see it, you know, in E.T. and stuff like that. But that's an era I would love to have grown up with. Well, I mean, sure, it's primitive from what we know now, but having had no experience of gaming back then apart from arcades, that must have been absolutely mind-blowing for that to come into your house. And the joystick, that was so hard to move that it was almost a workout in itself and gave you Popeye forearms.
I know that when my hands were big enough, when I got old enough, that I would actually just have my thumb on the top of the actual joystick and the other thumb on the button.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been fantastic. That's around about my era, but we got the Spectrum at that time, which doesn't count in this, because we're talking consoles, not computers.
Well, we're talking consoles, but at the same time, the Speccy can also be considered its own little gaming console, because, who did spreadsheets on a Speccy? Really?
No one. My dad bought me and my two brothers one because he thought he was going to teach us programming, and then we just found out that you could. I think it's safe to say we've gone so far in the future now I can get away with this, but I'm still going to say allegedly you could just borrow a tape off your mate at school and stick it into your tape deck hi-fi and record it off, and then you had a copy of the game.
It's like, Dad, can I borrow your tape recorder?
Pretty much, but yeah, no, does that? I guess that technically counts for the 1977 for the Atari 2600.
Yeah.
What was it? It was originally called the VCS, obviously.
Yeah. Wasn't until the Vader.
Yeah, see, the Spectrum was 82, so I guess that doesn't make it Generation 1, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Specky.
Roughly, because the NES in 83, when it was the thing, kind of marked off the next generation.
But your thoughts, Michelin, on the Atari 2600?
I loved it. When I was a kid, my aunt had one, and my cousin Shane actually still has his mother's working Atari 2600 with all the games. And
the original one?
The original one, the same one that I saw when I was a kid. He has her fucking Atari 2600.
With that sexy wood grain?
Oh, yeah.
The one that looks like Chevy Chase's station wagon from National Lampoon's?
Yep. I actually have a broken one in the closet that I'm going to put a Raspberry Pi and shit in. But, yeah, it
you
never...
always say, we like the Vader, we like this. I say bollocks, wood grain for me all the way.
Exactly. And the Vader is when they actually started calling it the 2600. Before then, it was just the VCS still, and like the 6-switcher and 4-switcher and that. And it was amazing. Now, I didn't have a 2600. I had a Coleco Gemini, which was the clone version that Coleco had made. But it was the same thing. And I spent so many hours when I was a kid playing that. That and my VIC-20.
Oh, you had a VIC-20? I don't know why I'm talking up here like Mickey Mouse, but you had a VIC-20. Uh-huh. Sorry. I forget that Commodore was a US company and that they were obviously... We just remember from my youth with them being like a platform that competed against the Amstrad and the Spectrum, we just always assumed that Commodore was a UK company, but obviously they weren't. And the Commodore 64 was a very competent... We're jumping ahead of ourselves, or I am. Very competent gaming platform in North America.
I mean,
so is ColecoVision and Television considered in the first generation as well?
Yeah, I think so, because they waned out towards when the Nintendo came.
Because the only reason I say that is particularly more so the ColecoVision was such a step in technology above the 2600.
Yeah. Actually, the ColecoVision, the Sega Master System, and a couple of consoles all had similar hardware.
Well, they're all based around the same chip, the same process. Is it a 6800?
And the sound chip, too. Same thing. Actually, the Tandy 1000 actually had the same sound chip as the ColecoVision.
Wow.
So,
all I know is when I got my emulator finally working on the ColecoVision, 6 months ago on my Wii, because that's where I do my emulation. Because most of the games I play on console are actually through EverDrives. But
nice.
I was absolutely blown away by how competent a system it was, and we chucked this phrase around, and particularly when we got up to a few generations later, which we won't jump ahead of ourselves, but. We always chuck around this phrase, particularly when you're a kid, which is arcade perfect or arcade at home. And at least to me, see, when I first played Coleco, I was like, holy shit, this is, particularly with Donkey Kong, this is the arcade at home.
Oh, I mean, Coleco made a big thing of that. Like, they used to show their commercials, wasn't it them? And they did comparisons between the Atari and the ColecoVision and, like, the baseball games, stuff like that. This is a baseball game on the Atari. Now here is a baseball game on the ColecoVision.
And sometimes you can find a ColecoVision at Peter Griffin's belly button.
Oh yeah, and 200 cigarettes.
Yeah, ColecoVision. This is gonna be a fun afternoon. Wow.
Wish I had a ColecoVision with belly button.
Same.
Man, fuck you, Griffin.
Belly button lint all over the thing.
Yeah. But I bet it would still work.
Coleco was Mattel, was it?
I think so. They made the Cabbage Patch dolls. I know that much.
So what was in television?
No, in television was Mattel. Sorry.
Oh, right. So Coleco was
the wrong thing.
Oh, as Mr. Burhan would say in his absence, in honor of his absence,
ColecoVision.
Coleco, what the?
You made it sound like Lego, Burhan.
Yeah, as far as like that generation, I had very limited experience with the Atari 2600. I couldn't tell. I was like 3 or 4. I couldn't tell you what game I played, or I was an NES guy. Period. So.
Yeah. We never got an NES in my family till 1989.
Damn.
They were rare as rocking horse shit in this country. I mean, they had somewhat of a foothold in. Shall we jump onto the next generation, folks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'd love to.
Which would be NES, Sega Master System.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember, like, as far as, like, that generation, you know, Alex Kidd was one game I remember playing. It was a fun little... I've got
Sega's official mascot before Sonic.
Yep. Because they tried, and it's a competent game. It's a little, if you're used to the way Super Mario Brothers controls, it's a little wonky, but it's fun. I mean, you know, maybe having the boss battles decided by rock, paper, scissors isn't the best idea.
Oh, that was a proper pain in the ass.
Yeah. But the game is kind of cool. I mean, it's a very colorful game.
Well, can I ask you guys, you know, because obviously the Master System, now we're on Generation 2, was really, really big. Like, you have no idea, not just the UK, but huge over Europe.
Yeah.
And Brazil. They made games on it until 1997 in Brazil.
Which is amazing.
Including, there's a port Street Fighter 2 on it.
Oh, that's gotta play like ass.
It does, but at least when it's stationary, it looks amazing. But no, I have to ask you this because, I mean, without sounding like regressing to being an 8-year-old and being Playground Warrior boy again, come on, the Master System had a way better palette of colours and was more vibrant than the NES. I'm not saying it was a better system. I'm just saying from a colour perspective and graphical perspective, I think it possibly may. I know this is going to make a ton of people hate me. May have possibly had the edge.
Yeah, tactile.
Whether it was utilised correctly and fulfilled it, I don't know. A few games did, I think. Well, R-Type, but...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, when you think of the late 80s, early 90s gaming, NES, that fucking dominated. I mean, and I only have, like, limited experience with a few games. I mean, I play the shit out of Mario 3. That goes without fucking saying. But I never got to play, like, Legend of Zelda as a kid. I never played, like, Mega Man as a kid. Because I would just find my fucking NES games, and this is the late 90s, by the way. Never had a Super Nintendo, didn't get a PlayStation until 99, but I would find NES games for about $3 a pop in a pawn shop. So I got, like, Mario 2.
Before the dark times. For the Empire, before collectors.
Yes. I randomly, in a Kmart in 02, I found DuckTales 2 for $6.
Oh, shit.
I ended up selling it because I need the money thereafter, but I sold it for like $90. And that was before I knew. And when I had it, I didn't know it was any kind of a valuable game until like 2009, when I think Gamester was talking about it on his channel. Like, are you looking like? Okay. And in recent years, I've really learned, like...
college with that.
Yeah. I learned, how the different stories behind why some games are so expensive, and so my knowledge base has grown, but I gotta play games like Double Dare, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and just the list fucking goes on. In fact, I'm looking at my fucking collection over here, Beetlejuice, God, that game sucks.
How many do you have, by the way?
I think I've got about a little over 40 games.
Beats mine, I've got 17.
If you don't count doubles, because I have 3 copies of Mario 3.
Oh, can I buy one off you?
I got a copy of Mario 3.
Yeah, well, across a bunch of different generations, I have 6 different ports of the game. Well, not ports, but like 3 copies on the NES. I have the Game Boy Advance port. I have it on the Virtual Console on the Wii U. I got it all over the fucking place.
I think it's safe to say that this was the generation that basically cemented console and home gaming, though, wasn't it? Because if you think about the crash before this, the fact that Nintendo, at least in Japan, when they brought out the Famicom or Family Computer, were taking a bold leap of faith.
Right. In Japan, it was still going fairly strong, but in the U.S., the market was fucking dead. But yeah, but then you look at like
single-handedly, NES restored it. Let's be honest.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have the top loader too. I have the fucking
Oh,
top
sexy.
loader.
That's the one I really love, but those things go for so much money.
Yeah, but you look at like you could sift through and you find games like fucking Beetlejuice and it's crap. But then you have licensed games like Batman.
Oh, Sunsoft's Batman.
Yes. Oh, I beat that last year as my summer backlog challenge, and that was a right pain in the ass.
The music alone in that game gives me a semi.
Oh my god. I mean, you have to dig, but you can when you find a gem, you find fucking gems. I mean, and like when I got Punch-Out a few years ago, I grabbed the Mike Tyson version.
Oh, you lucky bastard.
I got that, and that was actually my 21st birthday gift to myself. I went on eBay and I got a copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Nice.
But if you remember, I did a video way back on my channel. I did a video way back on my channel where I played a few minutes of a game called John Elway's Quarterback. When they would fucking put sports stars, and it's funny because he's got this big fucking shit-eating grin on his face. He's holding a controller in a really awkward fucking angle, and the game is complete shit. And this is 10 years before he wins 2 Super Bowls with the Broncos. It's like, okay, we got a big sports star, throw him on, license it, fuck it.
Yeah. Let's take a parlor turn and just slap on a big name because kids love him.
Yeah, but it's still fun because this was still 10 years before he was, a household name if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's
the
I could
point
ramble.
I'm trying to make though is I think this is. We're not going to say what our favourite generation is yet. We'll leave that to the end. But I think this is arguably one of the most important generations.
It is.
I mean,
if you look at history, it is easily, probably, especially in the States, the most important. Because if it wasn't for fucking Super Mario Brothers, we would not have a goddamn gaming industry today. No. We would not have Smash Bros. We would not have Mario Kart. We would not have fucking Street Fighter. We would not have We would not have any of these games that we see. Like, I'm looking on my shelf now. Brutal Legend, fucking, Assassin's Creed, Batman, the Arkham games, Metal Gear Solid, Madden.
Sadly dropped off, but key to this generation, Mega Man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Mega Man. Oh, what a...
My main experience of this generation is because, as I talk about it, is I remember reading in a magazine we had, which is very much like your Nintendo Power, but it was... multi-format, and it was called CVG. If you ever meet anyone from England, ask them, of my age, ask them if they remember CVG or Mean Machines. Because Mean Machines was a separate magazine that started as a pull-out in CVG, and it's like the stuff that you can determine if someone's a gamer. You just say, did you ever read CVG? Yeah, I did. You're a gamer.
Nice.
And I remember watching it, these magazines, reading over it and drooling over it when they released the Master System and just going, oh my god, the Sega ports are coming home. And because that was a big thing to me in the time, back in the day, which was all the Sega arcade machines like Outrun, Space Harrier.
Oh, Outrun, that was a great game too.
Hang on. And I remember reading this magazine just thinking, I need one of these. And I tracked down a second-hand one a couple of months before Christmas down the other town over. And my mum said to me, because my mum's always been very much, or my family's been very much, they try to install the importance of money into you. Like, well, we're not going to buy it for Christmas, but I'll tell you what, if you pay for half of it, we'll pay for the other half. So, got a bunch of part-time jobs, drove down the road with my mum, bought my Master System, and it came with, it was the one that you could stick cards in. It came with Hang On the card, Afterburner, and Wonder Boy. And it just blew my mind. Stepping up from the ZX Spectrum to this was just like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
No one else at school had a NES. We all had Master Systems, coming back to how popular that console was in this country. Apart from my mate Sam, who I used to have massive arguments with, because he just goes, the NES is clearly the better console because it's more playable. Now, even as a kid, being a sanctimonious little prick like I am now, no, Sam, a console is not more playable than another console. That comes down to the games and the development teams. No, it's not a console. No, it's not, Sam.
Oh my, yeah, it's, he had and I've heard, people, like the Rad Rascals, I'll throw a quick play, like Ben and Andy have talked about this before. And it's like you would be doing what you could to defend the console of your choice, because not many people got two. Not many people had both. There'd be the one really rich prick that would, but not many people would only have one, and they'd be stuck with it.
We all hated, but kissed his ass so we could go over his house after school.
Yes. You just play nice, like, just put on a face, and behind is like, oh god, I hate this rich bastard.
You're awesome, Bobby. Let's play your NES.
Yeah.
Really? Because I thought you were a Master System guy. No. When did I say that? Talking through broken teeth.
Because we know you Brits, you're not really that well in the oral hygiene department.
Oh, fuck you. I can't say that, I already made that comment, but I do remember the one time where I blew Sam's mind clear off his fucking shoulders, and
nice.
It's a story. One of the greatest home ports of R-Type is on the Master System.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting 2 buses downtown. When back in the day when you like 12 or 13, your parents didn't worry about the world and you could do these things upon your own. And I got a bus to the station, then I got a bus from the station to downtown Broadmead, and then I bought it from the Virgin Megastore. Then I caught 2 buses back, and I fell asleep on the second bus and overshot my stop by a quarter of a mile, and then had to walk home in the pissing down rain. And the only thing that was precious on my mind was I wrapped all my clothing inside myself under my coat, around it, and just went, must protect R-Type. Must protect R-Type.
Must protect R-Type.
And I got home and I played it. The first thing I did, even though it gave me a cold, was call my buddy Sam, boop, 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 on the phone. Hey, Sam. Hey, Ned's boy. Guess who's got R-Type? Who wants to come over to my house? He came over to my house and my mum cooked up, remember back in the day when you were a kid? And my mum cooked him tea and we had fizzy drinks and shit like that and crisps. And then I just popped it in and just went, yeah.
Nice.
You remember you said this console shit? And he actually looked at me and just went, I hate you. Yeah, no, it's right, Sam, you got Salamander. I'm not saying that's a bad game, or Life Force. I'm not saying that's a bad game. We got fucking R-Type, bitch. How'd you like them apples?
Nice.
The time gave me a concession, which is, it's all right. I think the next one after that was when I showed him Wonder Boy Monsterland and Wonder Boy 3, and he just went, all right, they're not Mario. They're not Mario, Sam. They're not supposed to be the same game. But look how shiny and fantastic they look.
Nice.
Fuck you, Wadey.
Yeah, well, here's another product of...
Your mom's not going to cook you tea, so show some respect.
Well, here's another product of that generation, the fucking accessories. Like, I just went and I grabbed my NES Advantage, and it's like, oh my god, the accessories that were on these systems... I don't know. I think every system had a light gun. I think the Master System had like 3D glasses.
Which are actually, I'm basing this on Winnie Pop's Johnny Millennium's video, but and a few other people I watched. Which is apparently the 3D effect is really, really solid and good. Still gives you a migraine after 15 minutes, but.
Hey, it's better than the fucking Virtual Boy. But anyway, yeah, the accessories are you had the Advantage, you had the Max, you had the Roll and Rock, you had the fucking U-Force, you had the Fuck Fire headset. God.
Fire.
You can say anything. Shit, fuck, piss. I just shot a duck by saying fuck. God. Oh my god, some of them worked, the Power Glove, it's so bad. But, yeah, the accessories with that, some of them worked, it was like, it was an entire fucking science experiment. Okay, how can we differently play games today? Or how can we add motion in? And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, so. I will say about the Advantage is it's a fairly heavy piece of equipment. You can hunt down a deer and beat it to death with this thing.
It's like the rolling rocker.
God.
Fuck.
I don't think that... I would love to see someone who got that fucking thing to work.
And beat a game with it.
Oh, God. beat Battletoads with the Rolling Rocker. I mean, my God, the fucking Twitch Plays Pokemon thing. Amazing they were able to pull that shit off, but my God. Yeah, let's try and see them beat fucking Battletoads doing that. What the fuck? Or Battletoads with the goddamn Rolling Rocker. Yeah, I'd pay someone $1 million if they could pull that shit off.
Imagine doing Galaga with that thing.
Oh, God. Well, and just, like, rattle off a bunch of games. Imagine trying to do something completely broken like goddamn Beetlejuice. Or something like fucking The Karate Kid. Which I can beat. I have beaten that game, The Karate Kid, on the NES. It's hard as balls, don't get me wrong, but I've beaten it.
Or Little Samson.
Yeah, if you can find a copy of that motherfucker.
Oh, Jesus. That's like the big dick polish now for like anybody who collects NES.
Yeah, as far as, I would want to find it, if I could find it for dirt fucking cheap, like, I could see myself dropping $50 for that if I can get a hell of a steal on it. Not $400. Screw you. I mean, I won't even pay $120 for a copy of goddamn Earthbound. Actually, I think it's more than that now, isn't it?
It's like 400 at some points.
Oh my God.
I think we lost Dave.
Oh shit, I was wondering what the hell happened to him. I swear to God, if it's yeah, we lost him. What the fuck? Except on my Xbox right now, so I just go to my Skype app.
Yeah, this the one thing gets me about the past history of that generation was like the rarity of some of the games, and now how it's turning dick measuring. How I found this in the wild. Well, good for you. You're in the middle of fucking civilization. Some of us, really can't just
yeah
listen somewhere and find.
I mean, I'll never be able to go into a random fucking store and find a copy of Earthbound. It's one of those things that, yeah, you live in the middle of a huge fucking city and you can find a copy somewhere. Because more than likely, you still got the few idiots that don't know what the hell they have and probably be selling a sealed copy of Stadium Events for $0.25. That story still amazes me.
I know, it was like a shopping cart full of fucking box games that lady found.
Yeah, it was, and then she, like, went back home or something, searched, found out what the fuck it was, and bought it.
She paid for a law degree with it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I'll never see that. I'll never, like, the one retro game store I have where I live, the inventory just varies. Like, I've seen copies of Dracula X in there. I think, like, once I've seen a Sega Saturn, which I would love to collect for, but it's expensive to collect for that system.
I've never put my hands on one before.
Really?
Yeah.
I've played one before as a kid. My brother had rented it one time, but I want to get like a Sega CD because there are a few games on there that look really fucking good. So
yeah, I emulated a little bit. I have a couple of the working design games, and I have Snatcher emulated.
Nice. Yeah, I think I have a Sonic CD, and then but I can never get to work the Adventures of Batman and Robin. I don't know why, but... And Snatcher on there, too, because that game is so fucking expensive that you'll never be able to fucking find a copy without paying out the ass for it.
What was his name? Used to be Chargeback Forward. He collects like a ton of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that if you can find it, but the fucking market is so goddamn expensive, especially if you're collecting for Super Nintendo. Oh my God. I bought a complete copy of Castlevania 4 for, I think I paid $48 for it about 4 years ago. And the game is freaking awesome. It's definitely worth that, but the fucking box I got is like cut up. Like the sides of it, there's fucking what looked like razor marks or something on it. So, and I had to talk the guy down from 58. So,
But just imagine if you had your time back then, just stock up on these games and they were cheap.
Oh, God. Like, to go back and you tell your younger self, okay, so, or fucking, like, at that point, I had to go back and convince my mom, like, okay, this is what you need to do. I need you to secretly go out, buy these games, and hide them for 20 years. It's one of those things that it'd be like, are you serious?
That's why you need Doc Brown and DeLorean.
Exactly. Time machine, just go pick up 2 copies of all these great games and throw one up on the eBays and make your money back 50-fold.
Live like a baron.
Really. Yeah, if I could, it's one of those things that, see how expensive these fucking things have gotten, you know? Especially, I can understand with a lot of them, you know, like later life, or maybe they're rental only, so like Hagane, or, you know, Flintstones, and then like the later life ones, so like Mario RPG, and Earthbound, and games like that end up, you know, expensive as fuck.
Or even like on Genesis side games like Musha and stuff like that. And a lot of working design stuff.
Yeah. I've emulated Musha and played it. It's fun.
Oh, it is. It's a great shooter.
Oh, yeah. God, the Genesis had some great freaking shooters. I mean, the Super Nintendo definitely had its share of great platformers and, you know, powerhouse RPGs, but the Genesis could do shooters. So, Dave, where is he?
He tried calling me just then. I told him, I was like, join this call.
Fucking hell. Oh, I was hearing my Skype notification on my tablet, I think is what that one was. Because I have Skype on my tablet, it will, like, when I'll get a call, it will freaking hit on there, and then it's on my freaking Xbox at the same time. Like, what the fuck? Oh, man.
Oh, he's messaging me now, apparently.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Yeah, I had to edit a chunk out of Slamcast because the audio got really chopped. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna edit it out in post and deal with it later, I guess. Fuck it. But yeah, what were some of your favorite games from that generation, the Super Nintendo and the...
Well, the Super Nintendo had a lot. I mean, there was like Super Castlevania 4. There was, of course, Super Mario World, which is great fun when it came out. It was like, whoa, this is even better than Super Mario 3.
Hey, I'll argue with you on that one. Mario 3 is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, and besides that, I mean, like, you had your different sports games, like NHL 92 or 91 it was. Yeah. I used to play that a lot. Street Fighter, and then Street Fighter 2, and then Street Fighter 2 Turbo came out, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot better. I couldn't get back playing like regular Street Fighter 2.
20 different fucking iterations of Street Fighter 2.
Oh my god, they milked that like crazy.
Uh-huh.
And I actually
Mortal Kombat Blue, because once everyone figured out there was a blood code on the Genesis, that version outsold the Super Nintendo.
And there was another one too that I used to play a lot. Oh goodness, what was it? I'm just messaging Dave at the same time here. Oh god, Battletoads Double Dragon was pretty fun too.
Ooh, that's a good one. Interesting crossover, but damn.
There's actually, I remember watching Game Second episode where they're talking about video game hacks, and there's one for that one called Butt Babies and Tranny Tramps, where they took that game and like changed the sprites so the Battletoads are all like turds, different kind of turds, and then
what the fuck?
And the Double Dragon characters are all trannies. So
why?
Butt Babies and Tranny Tramps. I have no idea, but it was just the title makes me laugh. butt babies and training tramps.
Wow. But yeah, if you look at like the classics, Link to the Past, Mario Kart, Castlevania, Mario World, God, I mean, it's one of those systems that it has some decent games. Pitfall, The Mighty Adventure is good. There's a fucking awesome port of Sunset Riders.
Oh my God, yes.
Roadrunner's Death Valley Rally is a fairly interesting one. It's interesting, but not bad.
Super Scope 6 was pretty fun.
Oh, the one game that actually used that.
That's what I mean for the amount of games that actually came out with it.
Yeah, I think that was the only game that fucking came out with that damn bazooka of a...
It didn't even use a trigger. You had to push the button on top.
Yeah, which is looks just awkward as fuck. Alright, what the hell?
No, I like that generation, the Genesis, TurboGrafx. My cousin had TurboGrafx, so we got to play a lot of that in Turbo CD and all that jazz. And he used to import games, so he'd have Terrace, which was the Japanese Red Book audio version of Military Madness.
The only experience I had with the TurboGrafx was Nick Arcade. Because there would be a few games on there they'd play, and that was about it.
Well, where I was living too, there was a fairly active community for TurboGrafx and PC Engine games in the mid-90s, so I actually got to experience a few. It was pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, that seems to be the forgotten system of that generation, No one really... There's some good games on it, I mean... There's no question, but man, it is not even in the discussion when you talk about that generation. As far as 16-bit, oh no, Genesis or Super Nintendo. I feel like people you talk about, like, what the fuck are you talking about? So yeah, I think doesn't Spider 1A have a complete TurboGrafx collection?
Yeah, I think I don't know if he's gotten Magical Chase. That's the only thing. That's the one game that he's got to try to get.
Well, good luck, dude. That seems to be I think Pat the NES punk has it. Fucking bastard.
The North American version is even more rare than the Japanese version. The Japanese version is more common because the North American version, they change around sprites in that and didn't sell that well.
Huh. Yeah, Dave said to add him back in the Skype chat.
I've been trying to add him back. I don't know what's going on.
Let me try. Let's see if I can do this on my fucking Xbox. Let's see. Let's see. Jamie Styles. There's the one boy.
Oh, is that him?
I hope.
Yeah, it looks like he's connecting. I think you've added him. There he is.
I told you not to mention the blood gods.
You mentioned my name and you raised my ire.
I had a system dump, and I'm not talking about getting rid of the chicken I had for tea earlier on.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's a big old thing.
So where are we now? Because
we're still talking about NES, TurboGrafx, that era, and that we're touching into Super Nintendo and Genesis.
I want to quickly respond to something Nick said that was awesome, which is, and again, I don't mean to sound like Playground Wars and stuff like that, but if you look at all the attachments or peripherals that are available on the Sega Master System, they made somewhat sense. If you look at some of the ones on the NES, and it's not Nintendo's fault, they were just plopping out any kind of shit. Do you remember that thing that looked like a laptop that you could pop up that you were supposed to play with Punch-Out?
The U-Force.
Oh, yeah.
Register your fucking fists and did fuck all.
Apparently,
it was like Power Glove without an actual Power Glove.
Yeah. Apparently, though, the joystick part of it for Top Gun worked fine.
And then there was that stupid dance mat. Anyone else remember that? That you could use
Power
with a...
pad.
Yeah, which you could use with the legendary. If you own this, you can sell it and retire. Stadium games.
Stadium events, yeah, we did bring that one up.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
It was Dance Revolution before Dance Revolution even existed.
Yeah, it was.
In fact, it was technically too far ahead of its time because the technology was not good enough to back it up. And then you had the Power Glove. You know, the less said about that, the better. I think the only thing people remember about the Power Glove is The Wizard, which is a shit movie. And the only thing people remember about The Wizard is they spent the next 4 months drooling over Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yep. That's true. Like, I remember watching that movie as a kid, like, just get to the damn games, motherfuckers! God.
Do you know what? I think that taught a generation of people how to fuck up adults with the single scene in it, which is, he touched my breast.
And then Carmen took it to a new level in South Park.
Yeah. Oh, we can't stay mad at you, Eric Cartman, because you smuggled board games into a prison up your anus.
Oh, God. How the fuck do you... Oh, God. This asshole's got to be stretched more than just...
Ooh, wasn't there a power helmet where you were supposed to be able to look, hit the screen, and say, fire, fire, fire?
Yeah. The fuck fire. I don't remember the name of it. Apparently...
I'm basically on Marvel comic adverts, by the way.
Konami made that, I think.
I don't remember the name of it. But it was like, yeah. It was the fuck fire headsets, what I called it.
Because, like I said, you know, not meaning to introduce, because we're all adults now, Brand was, but, you know, the Sega 3D glasses, I've never played them, but I've heard from a lot of people they work. The light gun I had was brilliant, but they didn't overstretch with what they were trying to do. But a bunch of third-party companies look at Nintendo and just went, kids like this, we can make some more cards crazy shit. And none of it fucking worked.
Yeah.
Although I would like a power glove simply so I could strap it on and walk downtown and see how many people would come up and want to high five me with my power glove hand.
Now,
really?
someone's saying it on Facebook there that apparently there was an iteration of it where it was left-handed.
If anyone would know, Gamester would.
Holy shit! If that's true, that thing must be the collecting giant amongst, you know,
Right
Nintendo peripherals.
He enabled top-loader NES, I'd say. And they were very limited run.
So do we count? Because I missed it, obviously, because my computer's a pile of bullshit. Fuck you, computer. I blame the government. Moving along. Do we consider TurboGrafx in this generation?
I find this an interesting.
Bouncing back and forth.
The engine is 8-bit, isn't it? So.
Yeah. It's like an upgraded NES. Which I love, though. I love the TurboGrafx. My cousin had.
They botched it in the States or North America, from my understanding, which is it was regionalized and it was only for sale in certain states and in Canada, certain provinces. And
in Canada, you get it at the source. Well, back then it was Radio Shack Canada.
Yeah, and it was affiliated, to certain stores, which is a shame. And also, if you ever take any, because my one that died, I have a UK one, which is a rare thing in itself, but my US one, when it died, that I brought back from holiday from the States in 1991, I took it apart, and I remember thinking, same size as a PC Engine, why did you make this case so fucking big?
Because it was like
huge. But the PC Engine in Japan, well, we'll save this story for the next generation, but no, it was something that could have been huge, but it was marketed too late at the time, and they didn't spend enough money on it. It's basically what Atari did with all their fucking consoles after the 2600.
Well, I mean, PC Engine in Japan was the competition for the NES.
Yeah, and it was the reason that the Mega Drive never really took off. Because people seem to forget that the Mega Drive or the Genesis may have been massively popular in North America, and the Mega Drive may have been massively popular in Europe. And even though my entire game collection is, because I had a Japanese one as a kid, it came in third in Japan. Yeah. It really wasn't as popular as the other systems because people didn't generally consider it that much of a step up over the PC Engine. So I can't stay mad at you, Mega Drive, because I love you.
Mega Drive, you so crazy.
Yeah.
Mega Drive, you can fuck my shit up all day long, and I still love you, bitch. So, whatever.
God, what the fuck did that? Whatever. But I'm trying to think where the hell it's going. But yeah, like some of the games, as far as like the Genesis, I mean, you take out Sonic, it was more of a shooter powerhouse.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was.
Oh
I
my
hate this phrase, but I'm going to say it just for you, gents. It was schmucktastic.
Yeah, it.
Thunder
You know,
Force, Zero Wing, Hellfire.
all your base art belong to us.
Yeah,
That's what I know that game for. The bad English. Oh my god, what was the what was I thought? Fuck. Yeah, I completely lost where the fuck I was going with it. So we're talking about shooters. I was gonna say the Port of Sunset Riders. I don't think is that good.
it's good, but it's all right, but it's odd because it's kind of an amalgamation between the arcade and the SNES version, and it doesn't have a really strong resemblance to the fucking arcade.
Yeah, it's not really the best, but it's okay for what it is. I mean, you want to port a fucking Sunset Riders, get the goddamn Super Nintendo version if you can afford it.
Yes, I agree. And even though the Mega Drive, and I had a Super Famicom back in the day, even though the Mega Drive was my baby, I will completely concur with Nick on that because the Mega Drive version is kind of, I don't think you really know what you're trying to do. You're like, am I a standalone game that's kind of inspired by the arcade, or am I an arcade port? Because certain liberties are taken. And when I say certain liberties are taken, I mean quite a lot of fucking liberties are taken.
Yep. I mean, I know, if you think about games that were different on the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, I think Aladdin was another one.
Super Nintendo was more powerful, but they were both kind of, and this is my favorite time of Playground Wars or in the console market, which is they both had their strengths. It wasn't about one is particularly better than the other, even though technically the Nintendo could, out powerhouse the Mega Drive or the Genesis, but they both knew what they could do well and stuck to it. It's like, I think it's safe to say, because of blast processing and stuff like that, you never would have seen Sonic on the SNES.
Yep.
But then you never would have had, although this is one thing I would like to say to my friends when they go, yeah, but the SNES had this amazing sound chip, and it did, but... And
Audible chocolate.
Yeah, but the problem with it was, and this is making me sound like not wanting to go forward, but to go backward, which is, it was above the quality of the arcade at the time. So it was kind of like, that's not what I expect from my arcade conversions. I want them to go bloop, 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 blip, 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 and have this chunky sound effect and music. Yeah. Whereas that was just like, especially ActRaiser. ActRaiser was like wiping your ass with silk.
Oh my god. Oh, that game was... Oh, that was such an, I think, really underrated. The second one turned it into a fucking platformer. A solid but that first game, man, that was unique.
It was like Populous combined with a side-scroller.
Yep.
And even though I can't read Japanese and still can't read Japanese, so, yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. Even though I couldn't read Japanese, I still can't now, people. I'm ignorant. I beat that because... After I imported my Mega Drive and I imported Super Famicom, but all I remember is when I got that game and it was confusing to me, and I just went, you won't beat me with your confusing language because there's a game in here. And I completed it, and it was absolutely wonderful. Just building up your little villages and watching, like I said, Populous. Watching the volcanoes and earthquakes and weather and shit. Fucking you up. And then you had to visit these specific locations. Sorry, I got Windy Pops trapped. Get out, you bastard. And then you went into the side-scrolling stages, and even though I say I preferred the more sort of old-school sound on the Mega Drive, there's no denying that ActRaiser has one of the greatest soundtracks you will ever hear.
Man.
Plus, your cherry was so cute, flying him around the map. And it had that amazing rotation of the ActRaiser logo coming in at the start in front of the clouds.
Mode 7.
Well, there's something we should talk about for this generation, which is, I think that's where Nintendo did pip it, and Sega finally, through people working out the hardware later on, even though it didn't have that chip, kind of simulated to some degrees. I can't remember any of the games, but they're all on my channel. I'm having a brain fart. But I think Mode 7 was the first time we thought that, all right, I like to call it flat pack IKEA 3D, which is, it's all flat, it's all on the floor, but there's no denying the first time you saw Mode 7, it blew your tiny little face off. F-Zero, I think I actually saw it myself the first time I saw F-Zero. And Pilot Wings. Oh.
Star Fox.
Mm.
Yep.
Actually, that's actually a Super Effects chip, though. So.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was the one thing where so the Mega Drive in Japan was 88. The SNES in Japan was 90.
Yep.
So 2 years apart. That's quite, for the inclusion of the Mode 7 chip, that's quite a leap. For the simple fact, what's the game you play where it's like Poseidon Adventure and you're in a boat and the screen constantly rotates? So whether in is out becomes out is in, if that makes sense.
I can't remember for the life of me right now. Too much wine.
But
I can't think of it either. I don't think I remember.
If I skip ahead to my opinion, I would say that this is my favorite generation of consoles. Simply because the step up. I mean, forget Xbox 360 over original Xbox. We can't say Xbox One anymore because that's Xbox One. Forget, Atari over Pong. I think this is the leap that most people remember, if that makes sense. Which is, holy shit, we've gone to 8-bit, which looked shiny and fantastic and gave us this massive library of games. But now it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a leap that really holds up, if you think about it. When we went from 2D to 3D, a lot of those early 3D games don't hold up that well.
Cough, PlayStation 1.
Oh god, never had a PS1. Like, the first game I ever played on the PS1 after I owned it was Suikoden, that RPG, it's good. And the graphics were decent in it, the gameplay, it was a good fucking game, there's no question on that, but man, you look at all those, at least when the gameplay holds up, it fucking holds up. Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, the gameplay just fucking holds up, man.
But I think we're missing the, technically, between this generation and the next generation, there's a 0.5 generation, isn't there?
Oh, you're talking about the fucking Sega CD?
Sega CD and 32X.
Oh,
right?
God.
Virtual Boy.
Oh, no, we're not.
No, so less said about the Virtual
episode.
Boy, the better. Oh,
No,
my
because
God.
they market it. Although I saw a video on it once, and someone actually owns one of the prototypes for the Neptune, which is the Sega Mega Drive combined with a 32X in one console, and it does look sexy. But there's this weird 0.5 thing, which comes down to Sega of Japan not talking to Sega of America.
Yeah.
And which is, we're going to put this out, but we're developing the Saturn. Oh wait, you never even told us about that. So go forth and do whatever you want. And then people just went, this is a stepping stone. No one fucking cares about this. Plus, if you've ever seen a 32X wired up on a Mega Drive, it's got its own power cable.
Yeah.
And then don't even
fuck?
get to the fact that if you put the Sega CD, or what we call it the Mega CD, onto it, and then put the 32X, I think there were only 2 games that took advantage of that. On top of it, it's got more power cables than fucking the Bionic Man when they rebuilt him when he crashed from space. It's ridiculous.
When they had the technology, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, Sega, what were you thinking?
Oh my god, it looked like it was on fucking life support.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Sega just went, we're releasing the Saturn, and Sega of the States just went, what? You got a proper 32-bit system? Yeah. Why didn't you tell us? Well, why didn't you tell us we were doing this?
Oh my god.
One of the greatest failing of communications in the world right there.
And that's why Sega's not making consoles anymore.
That said, I will say this though, Star Wars on 32X is a fucking amazing game. I'm struggling to think of any other good games on it. Apart from it gave us classic Afterburner, classic Space Harrier.
Potful Mail is pretty decent.
So where would we put the because I wouldn't put the Atari Jaguar with. That's right, Jaguar. I can say it properly. Sorry, North America. We wouldn't. I don't want to put it with the next generation because it kind of rode in the same 0.5 iteration generation of the Mega CD and, well, more so the 32X.
That'd be a bit fair because they were competing against like the Super Nintendo and the Genesis.
All I remember about the box, my brother had one, which is 64-bit. Do the maths. Ooh, catchy Atari. I like that. Why does your console look like a toilet seat?
That's what it fucking was. You could take a fucking dump on it, because, I mean, at least the 32X and the Sega CD had some games that were fucking worth it.
To my mind, there are only two good games, and I wish now, even though it would have been really expensive back in the day, because, sorry, really bad Winnie Pots. Fuck you, Miss Millie's chicken is getting on my chest. I wish I bought it off him just for, well, I didn't know I was going to be a retro collector in the future. Because it's cool now to look back upon, but as far as I can tell, there are only two really, really good, solid games on it. Aliens vs. Predator, which is still a brilliant game, and they were the first person to port Doom to a console, and said, hey, we may not have music, but we play as good as a PC version, and it did. Everything else on it, apart from Blue Lightning, but that was a CD exclusive game, was shite. Especially Cybermorph, that bird just constantly telling you to stop hitting.
Where did you learn to be an asshole?
And you're like, I know I'm hitting a wall, I can see it, and your controls are so shit, I'm trying to back up, but you won't let me.
Where did you learn to fly? Where did you learn to be a goddamn asshole?
You're my fucking sat-nav in the future? Why don't you fucking back me up and fly me over this fucking mountain?
Were you born a goddamn asshole, or did you have to work at it your whole life? Oh my god. Fucking...
My cousin actually...
I would love one right now just to play Aliens vs. Predator and Doom. I'm not gonna lie.
No, my cousin had one when I was growing up, my teen years, and I actually got to play things like some of the FMV games, and like Big Grid, and he he had an Atari ST as well, and there was this accessory for the Jaguar called the cat box. You'd plug it into the back of it.
Just for me, say the word properly.
Jaguar?
Jaguar. Quote Jeremy Clarkson on Top Gear when he had Ryan Reynolds on, and he says, hey, what cars do you want? He goes, I want a Jaguar. And he goes, well, can you say the word properly? And Ryan Reynolds went, what do you mean? He goes, oh, how it's spelt. Jaguar. Sorry, North America. That's just
whatever. Oh my god.
So,
yeah, the FMV games were a lot of what the fuck moments, you know.
Sewer shark cough.
My god. I just don't get a lot of the fucking, like, experiment with, you know, new technology, awesome, but man, there was no they were fucking all QuickTime events.
Pretty much, although, having said that, and we talked about it on IGG last week, I will say this, which is, I would like to see now we have FMV that doesn't run with 64 colors, cough Mega CD, and looks like bollocks, a new Night Trap.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be...
Oh, God. Well, here's another thing we could talk about because of that generation. The video game violence hearings.
Oh, that's right, yes.
That was another big thing that came out of this, you know, 16-bit generation. You know, I brought up briefly that the Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo was neutered. There was no fucking blood. But you had all these fucking politicians.
And then the Mega Drive version, which wasn't as good, slaughtered it in the sales. So when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, they hid the code in it so you could unlock it.
Yep. The blood code, man. I mean, you look at the 4 games that really spurted on. They were Night Trap, which is tame as fuck. Mortal Kombat. What were they? Doom. And I think I'm missing one there, but... You look at these games, Wolfenstein, these incredible... I mean, they're tame as fuck by today's...
They took Hitler out, didn't they, on the SNES version? They took Hitler out.
Yeah, because Nintendo's whole thing about Nazi imagery.
Yeah. The final boss on the PC was Hitler, and you got taken down, and he had he was dual-wielding chain guns. But they're like, no, the kids.
Oh my god. Well, Hitler was the final boss in Bionic Commando.
I was just going to say they had
see-
a lot of Nazi imagery in that, in the Japanese version.
Yep. But anyway, yeah, the video game violence hearings, I mean, it's still talked. Fucking violence in games is still talked about to this day. Mostly from...
Is it ESR? I can't remember what you guys call it. What yours is. ESRB? Or
Yep,
something?
ESRB.
Yeah, before
And,
Peggy.
I mean, it still gets brought up. I mean, I remember when I finally had enough hearing about this shit, when GTA 5 on the 360 and PS3 had just come out, and there was that Fort Hood shooting. Well, all your talking heads on wonderful lamestream media, you know, I can't believe using the Seraphim, but they are all fucking lame. They're all fucking corporate sellouts. Oh, they tried to blame GTA 5 for it, and the game didn't come out till the next fucking day. So either this guy got a really advanced copy of it, or you're just trying to find a fucking boogeyman. Go fuck off. Jack Thompson, if I ever run into you, I will gladly go to jail for knocking your damn teeth down your fucking throat.
I did a video at the time of that called Grand Theft Auto 5 Won't Destroy Society. And
Nice.
It's me playing the game and talking about it and just basically said what you said, Nick, which is, do you know what, people, right? Here's how it works. You all want to live with your head under a rug and pretend that society is a nice place and there are no unhinged individuals who are going to go batshit crazy. Well, guess what? There are. And that's nothing to do with video games or movies.
Oh my god, yes.
Who are pre-wired in society, and it's a predisposed position that at some point they'll go batshit crazy. The trigger mechanism could be anything.
Yep.
But to want to pin it down to a specific subject or make a scapegoat out of video games just so you can sleep more comfortably in your bed at night is bullshit.
Oh, go fuck yourself with a rusty gun blade. I mean, look.
Plus, there was a really good bit in it where people really laughed at, and I didn't even realize I did it till after gameplay when I got out of my car and I ran up to someone and beat them up and just went, "What do the 5 fingers say to the face?"
Tell him Murphy.
So,
I was literally disappointed that I said to loads of people in the comment section afterwards, which is, so you didn't pick up my message about that video games don't make people violent. You just thought it was really funny that I put a Chappelle quote in there. All right, technically, you're the people who are complaining about this game because you're that stunted in your growth.
Oh man, I played the first Grand Theft Auto when I was 12, and I bring it up. I did a review of San Andreas on my channel, so go check that out. And I look back like, God, I wish I had worded that better.
That's my favorite GTA game, by the way.
Thank you. It's actually my second favorite game of all time too. But I'm talking about, like, I have never once wanted to reenact any of the stuff in these games.
Because you got a moral compass.
Yes, I'm like, yeah, because I know if I go out, carjack somebody, get into a shootout with the police, well, I'm not black, so I probably won't end up dead. But then again, if I get into a shootout with the cops, I'm probably gonna end up dead. Unless they're so fucking incompetent they couldn't hit the broadside of a damn barn. But it's like, I turned out fine? Like, what the hell? I say I play violent games all the fucking time. I play goddamn Borderlands. I play Mortal Kombat. And I don't want to rip people's spines out.
Notes because it lets them turn a blind eye to the fact that society is...
Oh, God, yes. It's like this, they were able to completely derail the whole debate with Dylan Roof because of the Confederate flag. Oh, my God. And Jack Thompson in particular, this guy can just fuck right off. I mean, I have never seen a guy, and he's a favorite on Fox News. I'm like, okay, so we already have the connection.
You know, in Fox News' defense, they're not really a news channel. They're more of a
propaganda,
soap opera of news.
They're a propaganda channel, is what they
are.
Everything
is fucking sound bites. It's not actually conveying what actually happened.
Tide goes in, tide goes out. You can't explain that. I mean, I could bring in, speaking of Bill O'Reilly, Dr. Teller, but getting off track, we have an ESRB now, so when you have parents complaining about violent video games, well, how did your kid get a hold of it? Did you buy the game and you had no idea what the fucking
Well,
thing entailed?
There's a comparison here that you can make, which is, I don't seem to think, and particularly going back in the day to how my parents raised me, which is, and I may have watched a few, movies that weren't racy for me at the time, but granted, that was when my auntie babysat me and she just gave us
Didn't
whatever
give a
she
shit.
wanted. Yeah, because she wanted us to shut the fuck up. Here you go, here's fizzy drinks, crisps, chocolate, and that movie called Rambo. I have no idea what this is, but watch it. It's probably like Peppa the Pig or something.
So,
But some people draw this comparison, draw this difference in the stand, which is they don't seem to think that the age restrictions on movies are the same as what you see on a video game, because it's a video game. And it's like, no, it's exactly the same. There's content in there that young children should not see. So, and I mentioned this in my Grand Theft Auto 5 review, which is, if you piss and moan that your kid woke up one day and went batshit crazy because of the video game you watched, then whose fault is that? Yours, because it had an 18 certificate on the front of the fucking game.
Yes. I'm looking, I got 5 games randomly right here, UFC Undisputed 2010, teen rating. Blood, language, mild suggestive themes, violence. Ratchet & Clank, E+10. Animated blood, crude humor, yada yada yada. South Park, Stick of Truth. Blood and gore, drug references, mature humor, nudity, strong language, strong sexual content, violence. Brutal Legend. Blood and gore, intense violence, partial nudity, strong language, suggestive themes. Batman Arkham Asylum. Alcohol, tobacco references, blood, mild language, suggestive themes, and violence. It says on the fucking game.
It's easier to blame people than yourself when shit hits the fan than your poor parent. Skills.
Yeah, so
the sad bottom line is here.
But yeah, it's easier to blame somebody except yourself. They don't want to blame themselves, and there's, okay, well, I fucked up. They want to find the scapegoat, and that's what fucking goes down.
Right, the one thing that makes me laugh is when someone comes up to the counter with a kid who's clearly fucking 12, and he's with his mum, and because obviously, this, you've worked in retail, and they slap the game down, and he said, I'm sorry, I can't sell you that. I'm like, why? It's age restricted. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm 42. Yeah, but he's not, and you're buying it for him. You don't know that? Oh, please look at you. I totally know that. I can't sell you that because I don't want to be fined. You're buying that for him. So you have no right afterwards, if I did sell it to you, to piss and moan and complain that it may have made your son unhinged, which I stand by, which it may not have, but if he was of that manner, there was a ticking time bomb in his head, and that was the trigger mechanism. That's your fault, not mine. It comes back. It's show some fucking responsibility for fucking kids.
Parent your fucking kids. If you feel your kid is old enough to be able to play something like Grand Theft Auto, and they're perfectly normal, fine. I mean, it's always fine that it's always Grand Theft fucking Auto. That is just
this is a really, really interesting thing, because what generation are we on now? But I think, forget Mega Drive and SNES, but if we talk about, the PlayStation, the PlayStation 2, I think this is the generation where this shit really came to notoriety, and the media and the press went after it.
Yeah, it started during the 16-bit era, which came a shit by today's standards. And I mean, the PS1... and that era, there were some violent fucking games on it. There were some games that, you really...
Doom, and someone, a great magazine article in PC Gamer in this country actually said the same thing, which is, right, so while we're a PC gaming magazine, I can't help but notice that no one batted an eyelid at Doom coming out on the PC. But now it's come out on the PlayStation, when he popped, everyone's going batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And they said, that's because the PlayStation's for kids, which if you look at the demographic for the original PlayStation, it was marketed as a young adult console.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at 3 games right now I have sitting on a shelf in here for my PlayStation. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, SmackDown 1, and SmackDown 2 Know Your Role. Oh god, SmackDown 2, I sunk so many hours into that as a kid. Oh, just so awesome. Yeah, everyone creams themselves over No Mercy. SmackDown 2, bitches.
In fact, this is a new segment we're going to do, even though we're talking about a subject which is Nick's Retro Shout-Out of the Week.
Oh, really? Whenever the fuck I can get on. I don't know, my schedule's working out, but yeah, I sunk so much time in the SmackDown 2 as a kid. But you see, yeah, you can see what I mean. You could play CDs on the system. I mean, if you look at the fucking classics that are on the system, Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, Suikoden, Final Fantasy
Metal Gear
VII,
Solid, Sexy Times,
which I found for $1 in a pawn shop a couple of years ago.
Black Label.
Black Label, yeah.
Oh, you fucking... I mean, I have Black Label, but I'm just upset that I didn't find it for £1. It cost me $4, but...
Still, that is dirt fucking cheap, man.
I beat that game in Japanese, by the way, when I had my hacked PlayStation back in the day. And that's
Nice.
before walkthroughs and playthroughs. It took me approximately 70 hours because I had no fucking idea what anyone was saying. But
Oh my god.
I did. I beat it. But no, like, you know, just going back to what you said, which is, and I think this is the problem with all your, and sorry people if that's your perspective, but I'm going to say it, all the liberal-minded fucking idiots who just pop out and just go, we must blame the older society on something because we're too scared to admit that that's the nature of mankind.
Well,
And I
that
think
or
from the
the
PlayStation
Republicans
onwards,
who don't want to blame it on themselves, so they try and project it on everybody else.
from the start in the PlayStation period onwards, I think that is from when, you know, like you said, there were like Mortal Kombat on the SNES and the Mega Drive or Genesis, but I think that when it really got heated was fucking the CD systems onwards. That's when people properly just went, won't someone, to quote Flanders' dead wife, won't someone please think of
No,
the
that's
children?
Reverend Lovejoy's wife.
Oh, but what I like to say is, why don't you think of your children? It's up to you to police them.
Yes, it's, you know, you look at, I mean, and Nintendo was the only one that was still doing cartridges. But, I mean, I recently got a Dreamcast in the last few years, and I've got a few games over here, like, ECW Hardcore Revolution, Emery Wrestling Game, fuck yeah. You know, Ready to Rumble, like, a lot of times, like, these graphics don't hold up. It's the gameplay you remember.
Mm-hmm.
So, I could go back
And you
and
can
play...
argue that Ready to Rumble has adult themes, you know, as does Punch-Out, which is, you know, right, it's cutesy graphics and stuff like this, but ultimately what you're doing at the end of the day, you're kicking the shit out of someone.
You're boxing, yeah, and I fucking hate boxing. I think I've made that clear at some point, maybe in one of my videos, because I remember watching. I watched the last Mayweather fight. Oh god, it was so boring. Oh my god, it was. He was more
Do me a
worried.
favour, Nick, right? I know this is not a sportscast.
Right.
Do me a favour, right? Go back to 80s boxing, because that's when it was absolutely, and because you love, that was when it was brutal. That's when it was absolutely brutal. And look up any Mike Tyson fight. From the 80s.
I was about to say Mike Tyson. When you had guys like Mike Tyson swinging for the fences, that's when it was good. And I mean, I don't like Mayweather.
Don King drifted in. Sorry, people, politics. Then Don King drifted in, and he destroyed everything that was precious to those of us who did enjoy boxing back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't like Mayweather, but because he's a woman-beating piece of shit, not because he's a great boxer. So yeah, if you want to come at me like, oh, you hate Mayweather, you're just a hater. No, I hate him because he's a woman-beating piece of shit.
This comes back to, you know, people blaming everything else but the source problem or project, which is you don't like something someone says, then before you go batshit crazy or before you slag off their product, ask them about it. Well, it's not intended for you, or I don't like this because I don't like that. You know, it's not my cup of tea. But people are just so eager just to wade in and start a war. As opposed to understand the other side of the argument, if that makes sense.
Yep. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, the Dreamcast definitely didn't last as long, but there were some great fucking games on that system. You know, you gotta have that version of Crazy Taxi. You gotta have the Offspring music.
Yeah.
Huh?
And obviously my first Dreamcast died, and my second Dreamcast was a gift from Burhan, so awesome.
Yeah, it's just one of those
Plus,
things.
Jet Set Radio is amazing.
Yep. But man, like the early 3D games, Like, I recently went back last year and completely played through Spyro the Dragon. And it's still an amazingly fun game. And I'm one of those guys like, okay, graphics are not everything. If the gameplay is good enough, the game is going to hold up well. Graphically, it won't.
It's like me, which is, when I go back to older games and play them, I can put my brain in the mindset of who I would have been then and take it in as the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't overly chastise it. I just go, no, it's 1996. Put my brain in 1996 mode.
Yeah, go back and, I started playing through, and this kind of starts to get to the point where we start getting, like, remakes and shit, but with, like, the PlayStation, because that's what I had as a kid. I never had a 64, unfortunately, which I would have loved, because there were a lot of games on that system I missed out on. The Dreamcast 2, that to an extent.
Sad you won't be able to run it in North America, because it's on PAL.
Oh, yeah, the fucking, region differences, man, but with that system and that generation, that's where we started to see 3D. It really became more prominent. And you look at some of the other CD-based consoles, like the CDI and the 3DO. There's no fucking contest. I mean, my God.
I have to say, I own a 3DO and I do have a slight soft spot for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, they're ungodly expensive, and I'll tell you this, Philips had that whole deal with Nintendo, and we got 3 really bad Zelda games and an okay Mario game. From what I've seen of Hotel Mario, it doesn't look too bad. It's a little arcadey. It's, you put yourself in the mindset, okay, this is a little arcadey. It's just stupid. It's okay for what it is. But definitely not as an actual, freaking Mario game.
I know it was licensed, but I don't consider it canon.
Yeah, I don't either.
There are a few good games on the 3DO, by the way, that, will take your breath away. Killing Time is one. That's amazing. I'm struggling to think of any other ones.
Wasn't Road Rash on there? There's like a ported Need for Speed.
Yeah, and the original Need for Speed is absolutely fantastic.
So there's a few on there, but man, I don't know what they were thinking.
One of my greatest pickup stories, Nick?
Yeah.
There's a guy at work who just lives for, like, reselling. And he's not even a reseller of games, he's just a reseller in period. And he came up to me one day, like 18 months ago, and he just went, hey, the charity shop over the road is selling a 3DO for £80 with 7 games. What a rip-off. And I kept it in my mind, and I went over. He goes, I couldn't make any money off that. And I went over a couple of days later, and all the 7 games were premium titles. They had the posters, the foldouts, the receipts. They actually had receipts from the person who bought it in the games. I had Road Rash, Killing Time, Need for Speed. Basically, everything was a premium game. And I bought it, and then I came back and just went, you dumbass. I mean, I'm not going to resell this, but you dumbass saying you couldn't make money on this. The games alone are worth 160 quid, you moron. But hey, thanks. Thanks for telling me it was there. I'm not going to sell it.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And plus,
Nice.
I like the fact it looks like a marble coffee table. And
Oh my God.
very few consoles give you a luxury place to put your beer when you're playing.
Nice. Yeah. Oh my
What's the
God.
next generation now? What are we moving on?
So we'd have to move on. Where's Sean at?
I think he passed out from all the wine.
Oh fuck. Oh my God. So let's see. We can go.
It means no one can enter this call. Oh my God, we're indefinite.
Oh shit.
Oh well, we'll just hang up afterwards and hope he wakes up and just goes end call. He's not going to edit it.
Yeah, he's gonna have to. Let's see. Well, PS2, GameCube, Xbox.
Half hours of blank space afterwards.
Well, I mean, the Dreamcast is kind of like in between. So, like, if you think, PlayStation,
which is the 0.5, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the 0.5er. Yeah, it's again, I mentioned it. Good games on the system. It's weird because you see these like games like Shovel Knight that have these graphics 8 and 16 have gotten really
Shovel Knight, sorry.
Yeah, they've gotten really popular. The Dreamcast, I think it has there's like it's a little more popular now. It's one of those unique systems. It was really the first that had online.
Yeah, but it's also come back into favor. It was never dropped by, like the homebrew crowd, but it's also kind of come back into fashionable favor, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Which annoys me, because I support it from day one, and it's like, I was there from the start, people, all you little fanboys.
And
I can see the equivalent of idiots when you look at them, they're 12 and they're wearing Nirvana t-shirts. You weren't there at the beginning, man. You don't know how good it was. Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, the sports games on the Dreamcast are pretty damn good. Now it's dominated by, like, NBA 2K and Madden. But even on, like, the PlayStation, you had, like, NFL, Game Day, you had NFL Extreme, you had, NFL Blitz, you had all these great, sports games that really haven't seen as much of, like, what is there, like, Blitz the League on 360 and PS3, which is really fucking good. And just brutal, violent, type of deal. But when you go onto like the PS2 and the GameCube and the Xbox, online was Xbox. It definitely had online, but on the PS2 and the GameCube, I think there was one game on the GameCube that used it, and there wasn't that many on the PlayStation. I know some of the SmackDown vs. Raw games
too. The one game I remember being online was SOCOM.
I think one of the Maddens. I think some of the Maddens are online. I think. What was it? Some of the SmackDown games are online, but like there wasn't much. I mean, and only 2 controller ports. You had to get the multi-tap and shit. Yeah, like SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 online.
Which is, when you got to that generation of games, you're kind of like, really now? I have to buy a fucking multi-tap? Haven't we moved on from 1985?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, SmackDown vs. Raw had online connectivity. So there was definitely games that had the online, and wasn't that many. And it definitely got better in the next generation. But you look at, this is where we saw when 3D platformers got really fucking good. On the PlayStation, you had Sly Cooper, you had Ratchet & Clank, you had Jak and Daxter, you had Mario Sunshine, which was really good on the GameCube. You had, I think, Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex is really fucking good. So this is where we saw 3D really start to take shape. And, man, we got some amazing fucking games.
See, this to me would be the most exciting period of games where they truly, because they had the horsepower, and they could truly do 3D, and stuff was genuinely, exciting, and you were psyched about a game to be able to just walk into that world. That's all you ever wanted, was a 3D world. Yep. In fact, I think, without sounding like, quoting the obvious or an idiot or a fanboy, I think the one thing that most people who play games always want is to be able to experience life in a game. And I don't mean like, life. I mean like realistic visuals. And this was the generation when we first started getting it, and it was kind of like, ooh,
yes,
saucy times ahead.
God.
Remember the first time I played Metal Gear Solid 2 and I shat my pants.
Oh my, I mean, like, I still say, the Sly Cooper series, it's one of my favorite trilogies of games to this day. And, we had GTA 3, which I don't think holds up that well. Vice City, yeah, because of the 80s vibe, but San Andreas was always my favorite of that series, and it's my second favorite.
Ooh, hang on, if we'll go on this tangent. I like Vice City because they took the immediate obvious leap of fleshing out the characters with voices.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Liotta and Burt Reynolds, and I love Burt Reynolds. Brilliant, but San Andreas was just... That was a fucking sandbox game that made you piss your pants. That was just... You could eat. You could change your wardrobe. You could... Yep. Not that you would want to do this, people. Crash planes.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say we all did that.
Yeah, it's safe to say that with San Andreas...
When you get BMXs and pull a wheelie.
Yeah. I mean, with that game, I remember that had one of the biggest fucking controversies. Hot Coffee Mod. It was rated adults only for a while, and then they pulled it. They took the fucking thing out, and it was like a sex mini game. And I mean, they ended up taking it out, but you could still fucking find it. Some copies of the game, but oh my god, like we really saw when you could really do like cutscenes, and you could tell very good, very deep stories in these games.
I remember I was still living in downtown Montreal when that game came out, and I remember being really upset that it was sold out for a month. And the first day, and it was before my paycheck came in, the first day it was available downtown in Target, I just said to my mate, "Oh my god, it's available. If you love me, you'll lend me the $60. Just lend me the $60." And he's like, "Why?" "Well, A, you'll get it back, and trust me, you'll fucking love this." And he was like, "Yeah, whatever." And he lent me the money. And then we spent 3.5 weeks solidly every night in my apartment caning the crap out of that game. And he just said, "Dave, thank you for paying me back, and I'm sorry I ever doubted you."
Nice. Yeah. I mean...
Especially the little wicked plane. Do you remember the wicked plane with the short wings that was super maneuverable, but you had to learn how to fly it? The little Cessna or biplane. Oh, then you got the Harrier jump jets, and you had to literally rise up and then turn your jets backwards to fly forwards. Oh, that game was amazing. Thank you, Rockstar. I think me and Nick would just like to say a very, very heartfelt thank you to Rockstar.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that, Frank Tenpenny is one of my favorite video game villains of all time. This guy was a fucking psycho. He was corrupt as fuck. He was using everybody for his own gain. And, oh my god, when you get a guy that says, we can shit on you from such a height that you'll think God himself has crapped on you. Oh my god. And I mean, you look at the sports tile, you look at the racing tiles we have on the systems, I mean, I legit have every one of the THQ wrestling games. I have every one of them. I have all the Tony Hawk games. But man, like, Tony Hawk 2 was great, and it has the port on the Xbox, the 2X. Oh man, that is like the definitive version. I think that's Sean snoring.
Again, he's passed out, hasn't he?
Yes? Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, we'll carry on, Nick, but obviously when we finish talking about generations of consoles, he's going to have a very long video file to edit.
Yep.
Right. Shall we try? It'll be funny for the viewers. Shall we try and wake him up?
Go ahead, dude. See if it'll fucking.
Sean. I can't shout too loudly because people are asleep in my house. Sean. They're coming to Canada to steal all your blubber, eh?
No, sorry about that. I was out of the room for a second.
Out of the room? Sound like you're fucking sleeping, man.
Yeah.
No, that was picking up with the dog. She's snoring away in the fucking bed there.
Oh,
she sounds like a fucking chainsaw some nights, man. Fuck.
Oh my. Anyway. Yeah, we're on the PS2 generation. We're talking about San Andreas and. I mean, and this was a generation where, like, online started to get some ground, but.
Like, it came in
unless you were on the Xbox.
But, yeah, like, the Xbox is where it started really happening. And the Dreamcast to a lesser degree, but. It's this last generation where it started really taking off. I mean, Nintendo didn't put a lot of emphasis on it with the GameCube.
Well, no, it's like Sean said. I think of that generation, the one people who knew the future was coming was Microsoft, and their online on the original Xbox was basically, we know where this is going.
Okay, we know where this is going. Let's try and get this. Let's
pump out Halo, and you can all kiss our asses.
Yes. Halo, bitches, and then we're getting to the first person shooter type games, which are hit or miss, but I mean, Halo's a definite one. There are a few Call of Duties on the PS2, and I didn't start playing Call of Duty till Black Ops on the 360, but besides the point.
Do you know my strong memory of the PS2, my main memory?
Yeah.
Was I went to, because you know how, I don't know what it's like in North America,
Mhm.
how debacle the original fucking shit, the original release was handled. I remember that in this country it was on the news everywhere that PS2s, they're so limited, and I didn't even plan on buying one. And my flatmate at the time got really pissed off because we walked into this store downtown. They said, like, we have 15 more PS2s on pre-order. Write your name and give it to the person at the checkout. And I took it, wrote my name, gave it to the person at the checkout, and just went, "What are you doing?" "Well, they got PS2s." Went, "Well, you didn't ask me." I'm like, "Well, I didn't realise I had to ask you." He's like, "Well, that's not fair." I went, "Hey, I'm paying the deposits." "All right, chill, Andy. Fuck off." And I actually got a PS2 on launch day through the mail on my house. And all my mates, I was so popular that week, I cannot lie.
Nice. Well, here's another aspect of this generation, handheld gaming.
Yes, Game Boy
Oh,
Advance.
Mhm.
Oh my! I mean, the Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, it really started to get popular. But that Game Boy Advance, oh my God, that is probably one of my favorite. That is easily my favorite handheld. The game. I mean, this was a mini Super Nintendo on steroids.
Basically.
Yeah, well,
And it
I
was
mean,
smaller.
there are a lot of Super Nintendo ports to it, so.
Oh my God, the Mario Advance games. Good God.
Mhm.
My favorite fighter on it is it did an absolutely, all right, you have less buttons, but it did an absolutely fucking astonishing port of Street Fighter Alpha 3.
hmm Nice. Yeah, it's that fucking system. I mean, the Game Boy Advance, you had the link cable, you had amazing games like Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, Mario Kart. You had the Mario Advance games. You had, Great Port of Zelda. You had the Minish Cap. Oh my God, I played so much. I mean, my Game
And
Boy
also
Advance still.
Sega were in Nintendo's pocket at this time, so you had all the classic sprite skaters from back in the day, like Outrun, Afterburner, and stuff.
I
Yeah,
think
you had
there's
a
one
420.
called Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah, it is I mean, they were, then they upped it with the SP. Oh my God, the SP, that was a fucking godsend.
Hell of a whole.
Finally, backlit the screen.
Yep. It was just a great little handheld. It folded up. It was a nice little square.
I love clamshells. I love clamshells.
Yep.
I really do. One of my funnest memories was I took the Greyhound from Montreal to Toronto. So I took my my mates from the office Game Boy SP, and I just remember playing games on it, and the bloke sat next to me kept leaning in, and I just kept saying to him, "Back off! Get your own fucking handheld. This is Dave time." And it's like,
Nice.
I bought this to kill
You're
my
in the
jerky.
right, motherfucker.
Yeah. What are you going to do? You're going to read the newspaper for fucking 7 hours? No, you're not. I'm going to play this. So piss off and stop leaning over my shoulder, because it's really uncomfortable and I don't like feeling your breath in my right ear.
Oh man, yeah, he had a great.
Plus, do you remember the awesome limited edition one that looked like it was an NES?
Yes. I wish I could find one of those.
Sexy times at Burger High, right there.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just looking at because I have them all. I have the original boxes and everything. I mean, I have all 4 of the Mario Advance games. I got Metroid Fusion. It was a great little system. You had some amazing.
It was a powerhouse of a system.
What was that Metroid game again? Metroid
Fusion.
Yes. Oh my God.
And you could connect it with the GameCube Metroid Prime. You could get.
Yeah, there was a load of stuff you could do that. There was the Zelda game where you could do that.
Right. There's a Pac-Man game. Like it's I don't know, Pac-Man Versus or something on the GameCube that you could use the Game Boy Advance and like one player would control the ghosts. You have 3 player control the ghosts and one control the Pac. It's so fucking good. And then you had the Game Boy player on the GameCube, so you could actually play your games on your TV. And it's like, oh my God, yes. I mean, I could do that now. I'd pop on an emulator, but yeah. But man, the handheld, this is where handhelds really came into prominence. I mean, I played the shit out of the Yu-Gi-Oh
I think it's
games
safe to
on
say
there.
that Sony looked upon that product and based a PSP upon it and just went, holy shit, this changes everything. No longer are we, making portable systems based backwards upon previous systems. We can rock forwards.
Yes.
Mm.
And that's where we start getting into the next generation, and this is, we could... Once we start getting into, 360 and the PS3 and the Wii.
Let's skip to that generation now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, at this point, at some point, I had all three. I would get all three systems. I had the PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and I eventually get the 360, the Wii, and the PS3. Which, funny story about my PS3, I won it.
Oh, nice.
Which I don't know if I told this story on the podcast before, but so SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, they were running like a contest with their little, their creation suite deal. Well, and you enter, the one I entered was like for best cutscene, you got your choice of game system. So, needless to say, I created this little cutscene with one of my created wrestlers challenging The Miz for the U.S. title backstage. I make this comment like, yeah, everyone stops, gets up, and says, I'm going to take a leak. This guy sucks. I literally ripped this line from one of Rock's promos, and I end up winning, so I got my choice of game system. Like, I'll take the PS3. But this was the time when online became the norm. There was no more...
Call of Duty.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, there was no more. You had to get 3 of your buddies together and, sit around, play Smash Brothers,
Although I do miss that time.
Yes.
Yes. But this is where online and online voice chat, it really became in the prominence. And, of course, the side effect is...
12-year-olds having sex with your mom?
Oh, God. So I got to tell this story. I got a friend of mine who went to college up here. She was a volleyball player. She's graduated. She's back home. She lives out in Arizona, and she makes this post on Facebook how she would always hear, these fucking kids dropping the N-bomb because she only dates black guys. So, and it's unbelievable. It's one of those things that now you hear, you hear these fucking kids, I fucked your mom, yeah, well, then she would be a pedophile. You hear, I call them the shit-talking 12-year-olds that wouldn't have the nuts to say it to your face. But the other side...
English, mate, trust me, when you're English, half of North America, or 3/4 of North America, takes great offense to being English, and they trash-talk you and your parents like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Good God.
It's a good story. Did I ever tell about the time I got told off by a 12-year-old's mother?
Oh my God, how?
I was being trash-talked on GoldenEye on the Wii with my Wii... Do you remember the Wii speaker you could buy?
Oh, yeah.
And this little asshole was just going, oh, you fucking cunt, you fucking asshole. Sorry, people, I said the C word, I do apologise. You're going down. My mum's fucking fist-pumping your dad right now, and you're a prick. And I just went... Shut up, you little fucking shit turd, I'm gonna tell you something. And then I chewed him out for fucking 5 minutes, and then he started crying, and then his mum came on. This is not a lie. Took the headphone off him, put it on herself, and just went, do you know what you're doing? He's 12. And I just regressed to being polite, son boy, and just went, sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
I was like, hey, bitch, your kid was trash-talking me.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's when someone takes that authoritarian parent tone, I just turn it to, sorry, it won't happen again. I apologize. Can I wash your cards tomorrow?
God.
I'll make your beds and shit.
Yeah. But, the other side effect was first-person shooters, which, back in the 90s, platformers were a dime a dozen. Now first-person shooters are a dime a dozen. And almost every one of them is multiplayer focused. The single player, 5-hour tutorial in a sense, and then you have your online, which...
Well, yeah, well, you know what, yeah, right, 2-hour tutorial, and then 4-hour campaign, and then fuck off, the rest of it's online. Mm-hmm. That's not value for money. I might be the only person in the world to say this, but I still like single-player campaigns. Because
That's why I love Wolfenstein New Order.
On.
That's why I love the Wolfenstein
great
New
game.
Order. Oh my god, it's... online became the prominence, and now we really started to see, like, the remakes and HD remasters, Sly
and
Cooper,
the scary dystopian future that's coming, which is DLC and stuff like that, which is eventually, we don't want you to own a physical copy. You'll just have a hub in the middle of your room, and you have to download everything. Well, that's all well and good, people. But when the console runs out of its life expectancy, popular or not, maybe 7 years, what am I left with? A very expensive paperweight.
Yeah. Well, you better fucking make sure that your games are still playable. Otherwise, I'm chucking this paperweight through your goddamn office window.
I'm going to put elastic band around it with a note on the top that just says, Lone Boy says hi.
Like a brick. Imagine throwing that brick in a window, take a 360 and tie it.
It's coming, people, though. We mock and we laugh, and it's an interesting end to this, debate when we go up through the systems, but it's coming, people. And for people of my generation, your generation, Nick and Sean's generation, we loathe it, we hate it, but I think we're basically playing the countdown game, and we fear the future because it's slowly ticking down, and it's fucking coming.
It's scary.
Hey, welcome to your new game console. Would you like to download now? Yeah. As long as it's finished and fixed. No. You're going to have to download that update next week. Oh, fuck you, fucking paperweight.
Enjoy your new console. Put it in the fucking spot, turn it on, plug it in, all that jazz, and then update.
I don't think the modern companies realize the reason that so many people have turned their back on them and gone back to retro for Mega Drive or Genesis, SNES, NES, Master System, and all the old school systems is because we want a physical copy of the game, and sometimes looking forwards is not the solution.
Yeah, I mean...
You tell me that my console has an expiration date and it dies, I can't play it after said date, whether or not it's 7 years into its life cycle. No, fuck you, because I paid for this. And I bought all this content, so I should be able to enjoy it for the rest of my life. But no, you want us, particularly you, EA, you can't see this, holds middle fingers up on both hands. Fuck you, EA.
Can't spell eat shit without EA.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like the one which is EA. You can't spell Evil Alliance without EA.
Yep. I mean, I love the Madden games, but, and this is another thing. I mean, not only did we get all the HD remasters, but, backwards compatibility started to slowly fade away. We've had, Madden...
Nintendo.
Huh?
Apart from Nintendo.
Yep, Nintendo has always been really good, The Game Boy Advance could play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. The DS could play Game Boy Advance games. So they've been really good about at least going...
DS games.
Right.
Wii U can play Wii games.
Yeah, it's one of those things that they at least kept some backwards compatibility. I mean, the 360 can play some Xbox games. PS3 can't play PS2 games anymore unless you get the big fat motherfucker. I mean, we're finally getting backwards compatibility on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because of the massive backlash of the people who bought the system in the first place and just said, no, Microsoft, no.
Yeah.
The people who spent money on you, can we have a fucking bone here?
Exactly. It's just fucking insane.
It's dark times ahead, I fear. It's dark times ahead.
Yep.
What generation are we on now?
Well, we're on the 360, PS3 / Wii, and on the cusp of that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Are we gonna brush upon the
Well,
current
I want to, some of my favorite games in that last generation, from Brutal Legend, the Sly 4 was fucking awesome. Nintendo had some great, had a lot of fucking shovelware, but man, the games that were good were...
But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, right? On that generation, and all my mates take the piss out of me for this, but I don't fucking care, which is one of my favourite consoles of all time is the Wii. I think it's an absolutely fantastic console.
Yours gets a lot
Yeah.
of mileage, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, mine's hacked, but...
Mm-hmm. I noticed.
Well, yeah, you got yours modded up to where you can play emulators and
But
shit
outside
on
of that, if you ignore... Because people would go, oh, the Wii's just full of shovelware. To which I always say, well, why don't you look outside of the shovelware and buy games that aren't? You might enjoy them.
Go get Mario Galaxy,
Oh,
Twilight Princess,
Oh,
Skyward Sword, Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
Mario
Dead
Party,
Rising.
Mario Kart.
Dead Rising was released in this country for £15 as a new title. And I love that
Nice.
game. That's one of my favourite games on the Wii. Just, I can spend so much of my life, this sounds really sad, but I'm going to say it anyway. I can spend so much of my life on top of them all with my scoped rifle, just popping zombies in the car park.
Nice. I have Dead Rising 2 on the 360. And
They're not the same. They're not as good because on the Wii, your guns don't break, so you can keep them. But you still have access to every melee weapon that you would have on the 360 or, you know.
Right.
And, all right, there's only 100 zombies on the screen at once, but it's enough. But it makes it such a better game because once you realize that your guns don't break, it turns into literally Dawn of the Dead, you stuck in a mall, and you can just run around with your arsenal and just blow fucking zombies' heads off in camp and sniper shoot and stuff, and it's wonderful.
yeah, I mean, you know, the PS3, you know, when they brought out, because they have the Prince of Persia collection, you know, I mean, the Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper, and Ratchet and Clank collections are all fucking awesome. Go back, play these games. You know, we started seeing a lot of downloadable arcade titles, because here's where we start getting where hard drives are starting to get bigger. I've got, think of it,
Well, they just released the terabyte PlayStation 4, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's a terabyte Xbox One, I think. I mean, at least with the Xbox One, you can get a good, you know, hard drive, and you can bump up the space on it.
I'm really sad I don't actually own a hard drive because I'm really cheap and lame, and so all my expanded sort of universe games on my Wii U come across on memory sticks, and so I actually have a piece of paper that lists the color of my memory sticks and just says yellow, that's Zelda, red, that's Mario, blue, that's Shovel Knight, and yeah.
Nice,
just
yeah.
buy a fucking hard drive, but
yeah, I mean, and there was a lot of problems with this generation. You had Red Ring of Death. I mean, I was lucky my 360 only did that to me once. I
did it to me once when it came back, and my God, I was so happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, you know, last year I got a Slim.
I have to ask, how did your Xbox Red Ring?
Fuck, it's probably too much goddamn use of it. I play
Red
this shit.
Really
25% failure rate.
Yeah, and you know they fixed it for free. They gave me a free month of Xbox Live, and I went about my merry way. And you know, it's still working. I upgraded to a Slim last year though, and then last couple months ago I got
Did they have to make it like fucking glossy because it just sucks up all the dust in the room?
Yeah, that was like the problem with the original ones. The one I have, I bought in a pawn shop, but I bought the hard drive off my buddy. He was selling his 360 after he got his Xbox One for Christmas. So I like, I want the hard drive. I don't care about anything else. I just want the hard drive. So 320 gig hard drive, and I think I've used maybe 60 or 70 gigs on it.
I got the 180.
Yeah, I mean, and I took a time, hard Ethernet cable, and I just let shit download. So when you look at all the downloaded games, you've got stuff like Shoot Many Robots. You have like NFL Blitz. You have Bastion. You have these great arcade titles.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yes, Scott Pilgrim, Double Dragon
game.
Neon. I mean, when they came out, when they released the HD port of San Andreas, I'm like, shut up and take my goddamn motherfucking money.
My wallet. Just rape it, motherfucker.
Just rape it. Just please have the courtesy to use lube. Oh my.
But just do it slowly.
Well, that's the thing with Steam sales. When you spend $50 on a Steam sale, they give you a tube of KY.
My Xbox 360 I bought in 2009 from Cash Converters, and I bought it for 70 quid. So I shouldn't say this, touch wood. The fact that it's still running is amazing. And also, if you turn my Xbox on and you stand in the room beneath my gaming room, you can actually hear it grinding on the floorboards. But it's that loud. But then, as I found out when I went around my mate's house, that's all of them of that generation. But the bit that makes me laugh is, you know when you get that horrible moment of realization, but you can't stop yourself, is I went to pull out the plug for my T-bar, and my brain, as I pulled it out, just went, "No, Jay, this is your Xbox 360." And I couldn't stop myself at that point, and then it went bunk, and I plugged it back in, and it went red ring, and then the first thing my brain just went was, which we all do, which is, oh fuck, I can't afford another one. What am I going to sell? What am I going to sell? I can sell this, I can sell this, I can sell this. I think I might be able to scrape enough money together to buy an Xbox 360. And I plugged it back in, and the red ring turned off. And that was 2 years. I shouldn't have said that out loud, should I? Fuck.
Tempting fates.
Oh, I'm fucked now, aren't I? But it's still working, and I don't care what anyone says, and loads of people say to me, just go up to the next generation. I'm like, A, I can't afford it, even though I've got a Wii U, which technically is next generation, but people laugh at me and just go, hey, you got a Wii U, it's not generation.
Why does it sound like another 0.5 deal?
It does.
Oh, God,
But
I mean...
I still love my Xbox 360. I really do still love my Xbox 360.
Same. Actually, I have mine out in the living
Plus,
room.
a little
now.
Wi-Fi adapter on the back that I bought where I can angle the aerial. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is another, symptom of this shit. Day one updates, games not being, fully ready to go. I mean...
Cough, Battlefield.
Yes.
Would you like to save, Dave? Would you like to save?
I'd love to save, but it won't bloody let me.
God, there were so many, and this is where, there was some shovelware, but, I mean, and they're still releasing games on the 360. I mean, there is some shovelware. Duck Dynasty. Why does that exist?
I think, though, last generation is probably, sorry, Winnie Pops. That was probably Winnie
Whoa,
Pops.
nice.
Damn.
Chicken, you can blame the Colonel for that one. I think the last generation, I know it's easy to say this because we constantly move forwards, but I think the last generation may go down as one of the greatest gaming generations ever. PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, solid fucking 5 years right there. Even though I know that they've gone on further. I'm talking about the Wii when I say solid 5 years, but great generation, great generation. So if I was to wrap up on this, because technically I guess we can't talk about the current gen because we're talking about our favorite gen, I would say,
Well,
sorry, 12-year-old Dave, don't hate me for this because I know you're a Mega Drive fan. I would say my favorite generation of consoles is probably the 7th generation.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love, and that's the Red Rose nostalgia glasses, but I mean, the current and last generation, we've just seen so many advancements. I look at a lot of the games in that last generation, they're just fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, you still look at Gears of War, and you still think, I'm impressed by how this looks.
Yeah. I mean, the Wii U, which is kind of like 0.5 again. I mean, the day one fucking update, it took me
that froze
forever.
Myself into my throat.
Oh, God, I was so pissed. Because I had to work the next 2 days, and I'm working full 8-hour shifts. Oh, my God. I had to get
I just remember
on the
plugging
phone.
in and yeah, let's get some fucking Wii U on the, what the fuck is this? Oh, wait, it won't take long. It won't take long.
Oh God.
You're taking long. You're taking long with you.
Yeah, I
Seriously,
mean,
I
forever,
think
but
mine was an hour and a half.
I think, the one big thing with the Wii, they didn't have an Ethernet port. I recently bought a USB Ethernet deal for my Wii
Was it
U.
a Rocketfish one, like on the Wii?
No, it is like a third-party thing I bought. Pluggable.
I didn't realize it could take one. It can?
Yeah, you get a USB.
I thought Nintendo would be like, you didn't buy this from us, fuck off.
No, it works. It definitely works. Wire
Yeah,
connection works.
Rocketfish made the one for the original Wii. Did the same dealie.
Yeah. So that was good, but yeah, as far as my favorite generation, I call this last generation. I mean, the games I was playing, from Borderlands 2 to the SmackDown games to Brutal Legends, Skate. There's a great SSX game, the Batman Arkham games.
Skate.
I mean,
Skate, I love you so much.
the
I
UFC
spent
games.
So much
Oh
of
my
life
God.
trying to break every bone in my body.
So fucking absurd, but it was awesome. We started, and then the handhelds in this last generation, the Vita and the 3DS, my God.
Yeah. It's just a shame that Sony completely butchered the Vita with how they promoted it, marketed it, and supported it.
Yep. They fucked up the
like
Vita.
I said, I'm a retro guy. I really am a retro gay. Retro gay? I'm a retro gay.
What the fuck?
I want to check out my
Bachelor.
sexy trousers, motherfuckers. But my favorite, time is the 7th generation because it was the biggest leap beyond the previous generation, if that makes sense. And it's still impressive now.
Yeah. The graphics are all going to hold up. The games are going to hold up, Yeah.
Just a shame about the constant fucking downloads, but...
Yeah, but I've managed to get my work around that.
Nick. You went a little bit high. Did you sit on your balls?
Jesus. But, I mean, I've got my workarounds. You can hardwire your system in as long as you got good internet. I mean, it's one of those things that generation...
Oh, shoving your internet down my fucking third country.
But, I mean, and we started to see, we had the HD Tony Hawk remake. We're finally getting Tony Hawk 5 in a few months. Thank fucking God. I cannot fucking wait for that. I mean, and it did a misstep? Yeah. We saw the oversaturation of a lot of games. We saw Guitar Hero bite the dust. Tony Hawk bit the dust. I mean, Tony Hawk Ride Shred. Yeah, I actually had that. It worked okay, but it was so fucking... When
That
I
was
want
the
to
one
play
with
Tony...
Ford, wasn't it?
Yeah. Why?
So amazing article in a magazine a few years ago that said, hey, things you can do with the board since it's shit in the game. And it was stuff like, you could use it as a dinner serving tray. Have you possibly tied with the thought of putting it across your bathtub and place your soap on it when you're snuggling down in your bath? And this magazine came up with 15 things you can use with your Tony Hawk board outside of the game.
Nice.
My favourite one was, if someone encroaches upon your territory, you can use it as a defensive weapon.
I was going to say you could beat a motherfucker over the head with it.
Like the game devs?
Yeah,
no,
really.
the last generation is the best, simply because, even though I'm a retro gamer, simply because all the shovelware aside, there are so many pinnacle titles in this generation that are ultimately going to bleed on into, the current gen, and,
for years to come.
Yeah, and they fully utilize, and my favorite thing about this generation, more so for the Xbox 360, which is particularly since they shafted people who bought the original Xbox, which is the longevity of the life of the console. Because the Xbox 360 is running on 10.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
That's unheard of after the PlayStation 2, which currently just hit its 15th anniversary.
And there are still games coming out for the 360. The new Transformers Devastation game is going to be 360 and PS3.
Oh, I'm going to buy that because that gives me fucking
too.
semi. Then I'm gonna plug my headphones into my CD player and just listen to "You Got the Touch, You Got the Power."
All we need is a little better John and a lot of whores.
Yeah. One shall stand and one shall fall. But no, I think it's safe to say. Do we all conclude on the fact that the seventh generation is possibly the best?
Yeah, I think so too, because like the latest generation, with the exception of Wii U, kind of blurs lines between console and PC. Last generation is real, yeah. So
0.5. But that's my phrase. I'm gonna fucking Patreon that. 0.5 bitches. Dave invented that.
Actually, no. Chris Jericho really invented that. You're just taking credit.
I've never watched. In my defense, though, I've never watched that. So technically, can I have at least 1/3 of their AdSense?
Yeah, whatever.
Actually, no, because I don't fucking AdSense. So never mind.
Fuck it.
2 tiers in a bucket. Fuck it.
Yep.
So we conclude, gentlemen.
yes,
Pretty much.
we all agree the seventh generation was bloody good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to get better. I mean, with what we're seeing now, I mean, my God, it's just going to keep getting better. It's going to keep, online.
Loaded, Nick. If I was fucking loaded, I would just fucking constantly pour my money into a PC because I'm pretty sure I could see the future.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'd be the last Starfighter.
Oh,
In fact, I need a button on my PC where I press it, a red one, that just kills everyone else in the room. Job done. Job's a good one.
Nice.
Who gets to say I got gameplay? Have you?
who wants to?
Well, we got plugs.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, let's things out. We're closing out now. You guys plug your channels.
All right.
You first, Nick.
All right. Well, you can find me over on YouTube at the Gaming Pegasus 187. I am over on Twitter at Gaming Pegasus 187. I'm on Facebook at Nick Horacek. I'm on Slamcast every week. I'm on Instagram, fucking Supercard at Pegasus 187. You can find me over in the Wrestle Revolution Facebook group posting random memes. Hopefully, I won't be raging if a certain Fruity Pebble keeps kicking out at 2 tomorrow night for Battleground. Fuck.
Rudy
I'm all.
yes.
I don't get to watch that live. Oh, fuck.
Oh my God. It's gonna be interesting. I just hope Win Owens win, But yeah, Dave?
I would just like to say, first of all, Nick, you owe me previously a Lone Boys Post, the home of Dave.
Oh, yeah.
And second of all, you can find me at Lone Boys Post 1975, the home of Dave. Every time you find a baby unicorn dying, you'll see me sleepily by its side saying, shh, shh, it was for the best. Sorry.
My God.
I've gone dark
Like
again.
astronaut.
Actually, no. You can find me outside Apollo 13 pulling the cables like the little gremlin in Twilight Zone saying, yeah, die, bitches, die.
While Shatner looks in horror.
Yeah.
Or John Lithgow, depending on the version you saw.
Oh. Because it was Apollo 13, Tom Hanks. Die, bitch, die, bitch. I loved you in Tom. Sorry. Tom? Die, bitch, die, bitch. I loved you in Forrest Gump. Die, bitch, die, bitch. That works, I feel. I'm sorry, people. The anger is out of my system right now. It's gone. It's good. Yeah. That was my Apollo 2 moment. I do apologize. Well, how can we find you, Mr. Michelin?
Well, you can find me.
Great White North, eh?
Well, apart from being in the Great White North, you can find me on YouTube here at youtube.com/user/Dietless79 as well. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Dietless79. And on Facebook, you can find me at Sean J. Michelin.
If I ask you really nicely, will you tell me how to put a mouse in a beer bottle?
I think I can, eh? You gotta get them real small and get them to grow up inside of it. Otherwise, see, if you push them in when they're big, you break their bones.
I'd kiss you right now if you didn't have puke breath.
How'd you know?
I know everything.
He's all knowing.
Anyway, can I say it?
Yep.
It's been me, Nick, Sean, taking over from Burhan. And we've got gameplay.